December 21st, 2024. That was the date of the last Texas Longhorns home game at DKR-Texas Memorial Stadium. Of course, the Longhorns took down Clemson in the first ever college football playoff game in DKR history. On that day, 259 days later, the Horns are back at DKR for the first home game of 2025. Happy game day, everybody, and welcome in to the Texas Sports Unfiltered Texas Football pregame show. Alongside Bucky Godbolt, I am BK Brad Kellner. We got Mason Gomez here on staff, and of course, Rodney Rodriguez running the show back at home. We are with you for the next 2 hours live from the legendary Scholz Garten in Austin, just a stone's throw away from the site of today's matchup between the Texas Longhorns and the San Jose State Spartans. And we are getting you set for kickoff of Game 2 of the 2025 Texas football season. Bucky, happy game day, my friend.
Yes, it is good to be back here at Zigarunde Hall. It really is. Great place to come before a game, after a game, anytime during the course of the week. But it's good to be back here, and it's good to be back here on a week that Texas needs a win for sure.
Yes, they do.
Not back-to-back away games, but it's time to be at home.
Yes, they do. Big bounce-back opportunity for the Longhorns today. They are huge favorites against the Spartans of San Jose State. Looking at the line right now, Texas minus 36.5. So the Horns more than a 5-touchdown favorite today, and that will probably be the case for these next 3 games, right? You talk about get-right opportunities. That's what the Longhorns have today. Obviously, what happened in Columbus 7 days ago was not what any of us wanted. And the Horns, well, they can't let that loss beat them twice. They got to put it behind them, and they got to find a way to focus and clean some things up, not only today, but over these next 3 games.
Yeah, sometimes this is a tough ask for young athletes, you know, after a disappointing loss like that, and a lot of them will throw all their eggs in that basket. But the smart ones understand this is a long football season, and the things that you have to do from game 1 to game 2, most of the coaching will go on. Whether you won the game or lost the game, you're going to get coached up the following week. And I guarantee you there are a lot of Longhorn players on this football team that got coached up pretty well this week.
Yeah, a lot of coaching up to do.
Yes.
Especially on the offensive side of the football, right?
Oh, yeah.
I think we were all pretty impressed with what the Longhorn defense did last week in Columbus, giving up just 14 points. I mean, there's a lot of things that Texas did pretty well a week ago at the Horseshoe, but obviously the offense scoring just 7 points. They were held scoreless for the first 3 quarters of that game for the first time since 2014. But you talk about things that need cleaning up. It obviously starts on the offensive side of the football.
No doubt about it. I mean, the little things, the illegal procedures that you and I have talked about, but we talked about them all through the season last year, and you'd think that, you know, they put an emphasis on making sure they're right on the snap count and getting off to a good start. And once again, you get on the road, and a couple of young guys who weren't starters before become starters, and all of a sudden you get 2 or 3 of those, and it can set you sideways. And then you've got a first-year starting quarterback, which sets you a little bit sideways too. So there are a lot of things to clean up, and as you said, there's a long season to go, and there's a lot to be done, and a lot to be done. I got to believe this week. You know, we wanted the special teams to look special. They did not, although the punter looked the part.
Yeah, he did.
He really did. So I'll give his kudos to him. I thought he punted really, really well. He got them out of a couple jams, but when it comes to an overall special teams, nothing very exciting in game 1 for the Texas Longhorns.
No, there wasn't a lot of excitement for the Texas side in game 1, and we're looking for some excitement. We're looking for some fireworks, and I'd like to hear the band play a lot today because I would like to see Texas get in the end zone a lot today, and the hope is that they are going to do just that. So we've got so much to talk about over the next couple of hours, obviously getting you set for kickoff of the first home game of the 2025 Texas football season. We'll give our offensive and defensive player of the game predictions. Of course, we will give our game score prediction before we get out of here. We'll also talk about some of the other big games coming up in college football throughout the course of the day. So a lot to talk about in this one, but we want you to be involved with the show. You can hit us up on the Coda text line 512-222-9328. And of course, we are streaming live on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and Twitch as well. So you can comment on any of those chat lines and be a part of the show. And we invite you to come out and see us at Scholz Garten, a place that really needs no introduction. One of the most iconic spots in our great city. The perfect place to tailgate, but also the perfect place to watch the game. If you don't have tickets to be inside DKR today, they've got a giant screen set up. They've got a bunch of TV set up around this place. So come hang with us and watch the Horns take on the Spartans here. And also our guy Mason is right next to us. We'll be giving away a pair of Ariat boots and Ariat denim jeans today. It's a free raffle. Come by, you sign up, and enter for your chance to win. So plenty of reasons to come out and see us today.
No doubt about it. And also the legendary Hall of Famer, NFL Hall of Famer, and College Hall of Famer, and legend at the University of Texas, Earl Campbell, will be here. His group is here. Earl will be signing autographs. They've got jerseys available for you to purchase here, as always. So come on out and say hello to Earl a little bit later. But this place will be hopping here shortly.
Shortly.
Yes.
That's an early game.
Yes, it is.
These 11 a.m. games, it's for some it's nice, right? Watch the Horns early. You don't have to think or stress about it all day long. Just get up and get to the stadium and boom, you're good to go. But, sometimes the tailgaters are a little sluggish.
I feel like a tailgater going straight through the night from a high school game in Rockwall right to this event right here. So it is.
Did you get any sleep last night?
I got an hour's sleep.
Okay.
I did a good hour.
A good hour. That's all you need at your age?
No.
No.
I need more than that.
Not even close.
Oh, no, not even close. But it's okay. I'm ready to go. Rock and roll.
Rock and roll. All right. So let's dive into this game. Starting with this San Jose State team that the Horns will be seeing today. What's interesting, Buck, you and I are big believers in the college football Bible. We both follow the prophecy of the great Phil Steele. And I went and looked at Phil Steele's preseason prediction for the San Jose State team. He was pretty high on this squad going into the year. He has San Jose State finishing second in the Mountain West, behind only Boise State, who, of course, made the college football playoff last year, and they also started the year in the top 25. They're no longer ranked in the top 25.
No.
He also has San Jose State as the 40th ranked team in his preseason rankings. Like, not in G5. We're talking about in the entire country. And this is a San Jose State team that beat Stanford last year. They beat Oregon State last year. They took John Mateer, who's obviously the quarterback at Oklahoma, to overtime a season ago when he was at Washington State. San Jose State went 7-6 last year. I saw all of those things, and I'm thinking, all right, like maybe this team could give Texas a little something in week 2. And then I saw San Jose State play in week 1. And they lost to Central Michigan as more than a 2-touchdown favorite at home. 16-14, the final score in that one. So all of a sudden it's like, all right, this is a team that maybe if Texas isn't, but no, this is a team that Texas should absolutely be able to take advantage of today. And the Vegas line kind of tells the whole story.
Yeah, no doubt about it. I mean, it's a great opportunity for San Jose State. I mean, their head coach, coached for years and years at Navy, and to all of a sudden turn from option football to real football, it's quite a resurgence for them. I mean, in year number 2, this guy has done such a fantastic job. And it's a group of coaches that you just think about it, having to coach the option and having to coach the type of players that you get at Navy and Army and the academies.
Yep.
And then try to turn them loose and try to throw the ball downfield, change their offense altogether. But they did a fantastic job last year. They really, really did. So, I mean, hats off to those guys, because this is just this is a coach that could have stayed at Navy, I think, probably forever. That was one of those kind of jobs for him. But this is a group, if they do well, they won't be at San Jose State for very long. Somebody else will come looking for them, and their coaches have done fantastic. And it's just a compliment to he and his staff, Ken. I mean, it really is.
Yeah, Ken Niumatalolo, the longtime coach at Navy, the winningest coach in Naval Academy history. This is year 2 for him at San Jose State. And you look at San Jose State's previous coach, Brett Brennan, he got hired by Arizona.
Yes.
Right, did a pretty good job in San Jose for a couple of years.
Nobody stays there very long.
Gets a bigger gig. So we'll see if Kenny Niumatalolo, if he's able to put together a couple of good seasons, maybe he'll get the opportunity to get some sort of Power 4 job. But yeah, I mean, you said it. It's a totally different scheme. I mean, it's the academies, right? We've all seen the academies play. You know what they're about.
The ankle biters.
Niumatalolo did that for more than a decade and a half. And now he's a part of the San Jose State team that throws the ball about 75% of the time.
Boy, you're talking about rearranging your offense, rearranging your staff and what you have to do, and teaching almost a totally – well, it is. It's like a totally new offense, maybe doing some of the little schemes that you may have done that in the run game. But, my goodness, in the passing game, you've got to get the right quarterback, and he has that. He's got a veteran quarterback that can – I think they were number 4 in the nation in passing last year. I mean, a change of offense like that, and you'd think, okay, if we get in the top 20, we'll be okay passing-wise. They're one of the top teams in the country throwing the ball down the field.
They love chucking it deep.
Wow.
They are not about just moving the chains.
No.
They are about stretching the field, and And everyone's heard of the run and shoot offense. They call the offense they run at San Jose State the spread and shed offense.
Oh, no, they're throwing it down there. They're going to take some shots now.
And last week in their loss to Central Michigan, they threw it 45 times. They ran it 24. So you talk about a balanced offense. That is not what San Jose State is trying to do. And that was a close game, right? Again, they lost that by 2 points. So it's not like, oh, they were down big early, so they had to throw it around the yard to get back into it. No, that was a close game throughout, and they still decided that, no, this is the type of offense that we're running here.
Yeah, I mean, it is what it is. You know, like I said, they've got a fine quarterback. He's got a nice arm. He's got some good receivers. I mean, now they're missing a receiver who I think was number 2 in the nation in receiving. So
yeah,
but they found others, and they've got some pretty good athletes. They've gone in the portal, the transfer portal. You know, they've had to change a lot, so they've had to go get kids that want to catch passes, not run the veer. So
a little different.
Oh yeah, it is a little different. So the Longhorns will have their hands full for a little bit, you know, just getting used to what they're going to do. But he's going to chuck it up for grabs today. So this secondary needs to be ready.
No doubt about it. Here's a
lot of hands up today.
Excuse me, Buck. Absolutely. Yeah, no takeaways for the Texas defense last week.
Right.
Again, they did so many things right against Ohio State, but 0 takeaways. Texas entered last weekend with the longest active streak in college football. They had forced at least 1 turnover in 24 consecutive games. Obviously, that streak came to an end. Time to start a new one today.
Yes.
And as good as Walker Egan is, you know, he's a senior with a big arm. He actually has more turnovers than passing touchdowns in his career. So he's going to give you a few opportunities at some footballs today. You got to take advantage.
Yeah, you got to. The defense will have to take advantage of that. As you said, he'll think his guys are better than our guys, and that's not going to bode well for him. And he'll have some pressure today. His offensive line, you know, and they'll drop back and pass. This isn't the old run and shoot. They'll drop back and pass the ball because they want time to throw the ball down the field, and he will throw it down the field.
Yeah.
But they'll also go out and quick hit you and do some things like that, quick screens to the wide receivers. They do everything. They truly are they are a pass first all the way.
No doubt. No doubt. Here's a little bit of sound from Texas head coach Steve Sarkisian talking about Ken Niumatalolo, the head coach at San Jose State, and also the type of offense that they're bringing to Austin later this morning.
I think it's a credit to Ken. He, obviously at the academy and the option game and the success that he had at Navy for so many years was just tremendous. And he's a good friend that way of just getting to know one another over the years. And then, they decide to go in a different direction. He goes on to San Jose State. And for him to make the change philosophically, to go from the option game to the run and shoot game, I think speaks a lot to his trust in his coaches. The one thing that holds true is their style of play, and it is fast and it is physical. And that starts on the defensive side of the ball. It carries over into special teams. And I know you think, run and shoot, they're throwing it. They are. But man, they're physical and they're nasty up front. The run and shoot is a very difficult offense to defend, and Coach Stutzman, who played in it in Hawaii under June Jones, he's got a wealth of knowledge in it. So different tasks that way. We're still got to stop the run, but man, you better be on your stuff coverage wise. You better be on your stuff in your pass rushes. You let him stand back there and throw the ball, it can make for a long day.
Yeah, he can't let him stay. They won't let him stand. It won't be that way. He'll have plenty of pressure in his face today. But there'll also be some opportunities for this secondary, BK, to really cash in and get some turnovers, I believe, this morning.
That's a big question for me, right? Can this defense create takeaways? Again, it's hard to be critical of the Longhorns defense for what they did against Ohio State. They gave up just 203 yards of total offense in that game. And Ohio State had 11 first downs in the entire game. They couldn't run the ball well. Texas was really good on third down. There was so much good. Obviously, the defense did enough to win that football game, but Texas didn't force a single turnover. And all offseason long, Steve Sarkisian was talking about wanting more takeaways this year, which was interesting because Texas was second in the country in forcing turnovers last year. So it's like he was going for first, which I'm fine with that, but obviously not a great start for Texas. There's too many ball hawks on this team. There's too much talent on this Texas defense. A takeaway last week could have been huge to try to spark the offense. They didn't get it. I'd love to forget just one. I'd love to see a crooked numbers worth of takeaways for Texas.
Well, I think just the small things, in game one or when you play in a championship type of level game that they played last week, it's the small things that beat you. It isn't the big things that beat you. It's the small things that you're supposed to be working on that people that watch you play are expecting you to be better at the following year.
Yeah.
Or what is it that you've improved on? Is it going to be quarterback play? Is it going to be offensive line play? Will your special teams be better? Well, your illegal procedures that we saw a bunch of last year, where you tame that down a little bit. Those little things came back to bite a team that didn't really need to have major things happen to them, just the small things.
Yeah.
Where you catch the ball, where your quarterback throw the ball, where the guys can catch the ball. I mean, it's things that you can brush up and fix up in a week. It really is.
No doubt about that. Yeah.
Especially the level of football that you're going to be playing today versus this team. This team will be holding on for dear life. Their offensive line against this defensive line of the University of Texas, I don't care how many times they want to throw it, unless they're taking one-step drops, we'll have a rough time because there's not a lot of sun out today, but it's still humid this morning.
Sure.
And it's going to be warming up, and they're going to have to use a lot of players, but the Longhorns have a lot of players to use also.
It's a little different climate than what they have in Northern California.
Absolutely.
Right? I mean, it's still Austin, Texas.
Oh, it's still nasty this morning. The humidity is a beast.
Yeah, temperature's a little bit lower.
Yes.
And we're grateful for that. But, it's still hot. It's still a little muggy. And, again, it's an early September day here in Austin, Texas, USA, America. I think you hit the nail on the head, though, Buck, right? Like, everyone's going to be focused on Arch Manning, and we're going to spend plenty of time this morning talking about Arch Manning and what he and this Texas offense need to do to turn things around. People focus on the skill position guys, right?
Sure.
The backs, the receivers. That's just how football fans operate. Those are the guys who get the yards. Those are the guys who get into the end zone. The biggest difference when you look at teams like Texas going up against teams like San Jose State is on the lines of scrimmage.
No doubt.
And, San Jose State gave up 234 rushing yards last week to Central Michigan, a team out of the MAC that went 4-8 last year. They got bullied. They couldn't run the ball. San Jose State couldn't run the ball, and they couldn't stop the run. So for Texas today, I was pretty impressed by both the offensive and defensive lines last week. They especially the offensive line, was kind of better than I expected.
Yes.
Against this San Jose State team that's a little smaller and a lot less talented. It should be a field day for the big boys up front.
Yeah, it should be a field day for the big boys. It should be a field day for the running backs. And offensively, they should be able to do all the things that they want to do against San Jose State. There shouldn't be anything that hold them back. And you don't hold back in a game like this. I know the next 3 weeks, it's like, don't show the SEC what you have. No, show yourselves, show your team what you have. Let the other things take care of themselves. Just do some other things that are going to distract the opposing teams when you get into SEC play. But right now, your team needs a boost offensively. They need to see you have some success on the offensive side. I mean, I thought they had really nice success in the run game until it mattered. There's a time when it really, really matters. It's nice you can rush for 500 yards, but if you get down the goal line and you can't punch it in from the 2, I mean, what is it? You lose the game.
That's what
situational football, they've got to get better at it. They're going to have to continue to get better at it this week, next week, the week after that, until they get back into SEC play where it's going to matter.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, here's Steve Sarkisian. This is from his press conference on Monday, because I'm with you. I mean, you look at a lot of what the Texas running game did last week. There's a lot to be excited about. 37 carries, 166 yards, about 4.5 yards a carry.
That's
right
amazing.
There. Obviously, you saw your quarterback get involved in the run game. That's a new wrinkle to this Texas offense that you didn't have the last 3
You're not
seasons.
supposed to lose that game against a powerhouse like that if you rush for 100. You and I talked about 130, 140. If they get that, they should win the game.
Yeah.
You get to 166. You're not supposed to lose that game.
And you hold them to 77.
Right.
That's one thing. If you get to 166, but they get to 200, you more than doubled their output on the ground. But you said it, the situational football when it mattered most, Texas couldn't get it done. But still, I think a lot to be proud of with the way Texas ran the football in game 1.
Yes.
Here's Steve Sarkisian talking about how pleased he was with Texas's run game.
I was very pleased. We felt like a year ago, for lack of better terms, we were probably a little too cute against those teams. And we wanted to get back to a physical brand of football that we've kind of built around here. And we went into this game with that mentality. We ran the ball between the tackles. We wanted to run the ball right at them. That we wanted to have a physical mentality, and I think we can with the style of offensive line that we have, and I thought we did that. But I think one thing we challenged the players on, I thought we had opportunities for even bigger runs, but it takes all 11. We need to block better on the perimeter at wideout. We need to strain a little bit more on the backside of runs so that last defender can't make that tackle. But there's a commitment around here to running the football. And I've said all along, like, when you go on the road against really quality opponents, right, you got to pack your defense, you got to pack your run game. And those two things happen. Now, we need the other elements of our team still to show up. But knowing we have those two things gives me a ton of confidence as we go through this season that we have the ability to do that.
Yeah, it's situational run, Coach. There's a time when you can run in the middle of the field, but when you get down there when things get a little tight and it's you versus them and they're big guys versus your big guys, and it's one of the best defenses in the nation, and you need a yard or 2 yards, you have to win those battles. You can't continue to come up short in those battles, and this team continues to come up short in big games and in real key situations when it comes to that. That has to be fixed. That in order to win a championship or play for a championship, they have to fix that, BK. That has to stop.
I don't disagree. Now, they should win all of those big battles today.
Oh, no doubt about it.
And if there is a 4th and goal situation from the 1 yard line, you better be able to punch it in against this
Shouldn't
team.
be any. There's no cutesy anything here.
No, you should be able to just tell them, hey, San Jose State, we're going to run it right here.
Yes.
Hand it off to C.J. Baxter. He's going through this gap, and he's going to get into the end zone. And
Absolutely.
Hey, there's nothing you can do about it. So you're right. I mean, over the course of a whole season, when you're playing better opponents, you've got to find a way that you can prove to everybody that you can punch it in when you get to the red area, and you can succeed in those big situations that you haven't been able to succeed in more often than not against high-quality opponents in these last couple of years. But today and in these next 3 games, you shouldn't be getting stuff. I don't even want a 4th and goal from the 1. You should be able to get in before you get to 4th down.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah, there's no doubt about that. This is also a game that, you've got to trust in what your coaches have talked to you about all summer long, all fall long, about preparation and what you need to do in this football game. Because what you can't do, and what a lot of teams will do, if you lose a big game early in the football season, you'll try to win the game the following week. Well, you can't get the Ohio State game back. You can't do that.
We can't.
You're not going to win.
What if I want to?
If you feel like you want, no, they're not going to give you a win if you beat the crap out of San Jose State.
No.
You just got to continue to get better, but you don't get to get that game back against Ohio State until hopefully later on in the football season. You have an opportunity to do so, I believe, because that team is going to get better, just like this team is going to get better. But you can't try to win the game that you just played the next week. It doesn't work that way. So you've got to listen and learn during the course of the week and what you got to do to get better.
Look, I'm never going to spin a loss as a good thing, but maybe if you do go on the road and beat Ohio State last week and you're still the number 1 team in the country and Arch Manning plays well and people are continuing to crown him, then this could be an overlooked spot. And again, you could kind of overlook this team and still win pretty easily.
Yes.
But you lose a game like that and
it's got everybody's attention.
You're a bit of a laughingstock over the last week in the college football world. Even though it's a loss against the defending champs in their house, it's not a bad loss on paper, but you didn't play well. Everybody saw you not play well. That was the most watched week 1 game in the history of this sport. So everybody saw you kind of fall flat on your face. These guys are chomping at the bit. There's no overlook spot here. They are ready to take out some anger.
And the head coach has got to start to feel some of the pressure too. I mean, he's been to 2 semifinals back-to-back years, but he's becoming the Ryan Day of college football.
Well, as long as it ends with what Ryan Day just did last year.
Yeah, I mean, eventually you want to get to that spot. And his team's got to understand that, and the players on this team, if they're, as I said, I still believe that before it's all said and done, everybody will have to rise to what Arch Manning is all about. But he's got to have some help. This wasn't all about him last week. This was about some little things that can go sideways on you, and you got to fix that. And you got to fix it at home. I mean, there's no doubt about it. And you're playing a team that you should be able to fix a lot of the problems that you saw last week.
Yeah, absolutely. Here's another bit of sound from Steve Sarkisian. He was asked if these next 3 games, obviously starting today against San Jose State, next week against UTEP, then Sam Houston coming to town the following Saturday, are these next 3 games about your opponents, or are they more about you getting your stuff fixed up?
First of all, we respect all these opponents that we play. And San Jose State, as I said, they're a dangerous team. They're going to throw the ball over 50 times Saturday, and you got to keep the ball in front. You got to tackle really well. They're attacking style defense, a lot of movement up front. So we have to assess and address and game plan for the opponent that we have. But I think a lot of what we do is internal. So that each individual works at his craft and gets better, then you have to be coachable to do that. You got to take the coaching and then try to apply the things that we're working on. There's a lot of guys that didn't play Saturday that we're going to need to play, and they're going to need to grow and develop over this time. So they need to work on their craft too over this next month. And that started today. And I thought we got off to a good start with that. So I guess it's probably twofold, but more importantly, it's the task at hand, what's in front of us, and that's playing San Jose State. To play good against San Jose State, we need to get better internally so that we can play our best football Saturday at 11 o'clock.
I think he's right. It's about what you do. It's not about what the other team does and worrying about, the patches that you play over the next 3 weeks. You have got to get better, and your team has to get better. And that started, I guess, Sunday when they got back. To get better after that football game. The one thing you have to do, no matter what it is you got to play the game, and you got to love the game, and you got to love who you're playing against. It's too bad that you end up with San Jose State, because you can't play Ohio State every week. So you can't have the media and the crowd and college football pump you up. You have to be ready to go. And I thought last week, and especially from an offensive standpoint, it wasn't lethargic, but it didn't look like everybody was ready to go. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I think they were counting on the Arch Manning hype to pull the team offensively and get it done that way, because that's all we heard about all summer long. I mean, since he's got here, when he becomes a starter, this thing is going to be like a machine. And, everybody kind of looked around and waited for him to be the guy to do it. And, they broke the huddle kind of lethargic. They had some illegal procedures that were, unforced errors that they didn't need. They got to be sharp. I mean, and it takes everybody to be sharp, and it's hard to do that. It's easy to fall into the hype of playing, Ohio State or playing the Notre Dames early, but now you've got to play San Jose State. You got to take advantage of every time you get an opportunity to get on the football field, because there's only so many of those that you get. I know it's a long season and we got a lot of games to play, but you got to treat them all as if, you got to be the ones that bring yourselves up. And I didn't see that last week. I just thought a lot of people, Arch was sitting on the bench by himself at times. I didn't see a lot of players go over to him.
Yep.
I mean, that guy needs a little bit of guidance too. He's a young player, and he's going to be fantastic, but it takes the rest of these guys to bring him along also.
Yeah, it was a lethargic start to the game for
Yes,
Texas
it was.
last week. I mean, they had 79 yards of total offense in the first half. They only had 4 first downs in the first 30 minutes of that game last week. And again, they finally got things going a little bit more in the second half. Unfortunately, the red zone, once again, is what did them in. But, you got to get off to a faster start than that. Texas the first drive was bad. The first play of the game, I thought Steve Sarkisian schemed up a great play. DeAndre Moore was wide open.
Right.
He got Arch Manning out of the pocket, and Arch Manning just short-armed him a little bit. Ends up as an incomplete pass. Texas goes on to turn it over on downs a little bit later in that drive. But that first play was almost a microcosm of the Texas first half, and it's like they couldn't get out of their own way.
Yeah, they were everybody's looking at each other. Who's going to make the play? Who's going to be the player here? I mean, when you just got to take it upon yourself that this isn't just Arch Manning's start. This is all of our start. This is our football team start. So we got to come along together and get that done. And this is the next 3 games are great opportunities to do it. So anytime you can get an opportunity to play, no matter who the opponent is, you got to treat it the same. You got to bring your enthusiasm. You can't have the media. You can't have what we say during the course of the week. You can't have game day bring you up. You have to bring yourself up in those games. That's hard to do. Your opponent is ready to go. They're the defending national champs. They understand what it's like to be in those big games, and so do you.
Yeah,
you've been in those type of big games. So situational football, the little things will mean an awful lot. And they let a lot of little things get away from them last week.
No doubt about that. All right. We got a lot of Arch Manning conversation to dive into today. What we want to see from QB1, what we need to see from QB1. But first, Buck, how about a word for our friends at Clean Cause? They bring you the Clean Cause.
Love the folks at Clean Cause. Love those wonderful yerba mate drinks. They are fantastic. I love them. I love all the different flavors that they have. But what I really like about Clean Cause is they give 50% of their profits back for folks with addictions, whether it's alcohol or drug addictions. They put their money where their mouths is. They really do, and they're doing a fantastic job in the state of Texas. It's one of the first liquids that I noticed when I first got to Texas. Now, me being a recovering alcoholic, it's just to see that out there and see what they do with their money. They do some wonderful things in our area, and they're doing it all over the country right now.
No doubt about that.
The folks at Clean Cause, we do appreciate what they do for us also.
Yeah, to date, they've donated more than $3.8 million as a community, and they are just getting started. Their mission is to energize lives with purpose. They craft refreshing, better-for-you, sparkling yerba mate beverages that deliver a clean caffeine boost without the crash.
Yeah, you don't get the jitters from that.
That's the key right there. You can find Clean Cause drinks at your local grocery stores and convenience stores all around town or online at cleancause.com. Bunch of new flavors. They're also having new packaging for their cans coming soon, so be on the lookout for that. Special thanks to our friends at Clean
and our good friend Hashish over at 7-Eleven. He's got plenty of those available for you, believe me.
Yes, he does. Yes, he does. All right, well, let's dive into the Arch Manning conversation, Buck. To say it was a disappointing 2025 debut for Arch would be the understatement of all understatements. The first half was downright ugly 5 of 10 for just 26 yards passing. He, like the rest of the Texas offense, got things in gear a little bit more in the second half. But again, just 7 points for the Longhorn offense and too many missed opportunities for Arch Manning, too many missed easy plays for Arch Manning. What do you want to see different, kind of besides everything, from QB1 today?
Well, I like for them to break the huddle. His sense of urgency needs to be there because he has to have a bounce back. He has to be whoever we thought he was going to be last week. He was not. The head coach said, I just want Arch to be himself. Well, hopefully that's not himself. We don't want to see too much more of what we saw last week.
No.
Early, late, whatever. It's just not enough. It's not enough to win in the SEC. So he has to change his stuff. And some of the mechanics that we saw last week, I've never seen that before. Now, I've seen it before, but Quinn Ewers was the guy when he was struggling, had some of those kind of types of mechanics, throwing sidearm, short arming balls, things like that. And he just looked nervous. And for all the things that this guy is going through, he's a young guy having his first start as a starting quarterback, at this level, and he had to have nerves. I mean, I think we had nerves for him.
Yeah.
I think we thought that, yeah, he's quite an athlete. He's quite a player. He comes from a great family. He's got all the NIL deals, but he has to be the one that goes out there in front of 105,000 last week. And if you're not nervous, then you're not human. You just don't go out there and just walk in and think you're going to have success, because there's other guys on the other side that are so upset at what they want to do to you. They've been waiting to get a piece of you too. Sure. On the other side of the football. And I think for him, it's just a matter of really calming down a little bit. And I think he'll be a lot calmer. It's that whole thing about when Sark says, be yourself. No, be better than yourself. If that was yourself last week, you need to be better than yourself. And I expect that he will be.
Yeah, usually people don't put too much stock into a game where one team is more than a 5-touchdown favorite against the other team, but usually Arch Manning isn't involved. Like today's game is different. Texas fans, but more importantly, the guys in that locker room,
yes,
they need to see the quarterback play a hell of a lot better,
yes,
to inspire a level of confidence that what happened last week was a total fluke. And
sure.
I get it. Some people out there, the Texas haters, the Arch Manning haters, they don't care if Arch Manning goes for 350 yards and 4 touchdowns today.
It won't matter.
They'll say it's San Jose State. Who cares? I can tell you the haters will be out if Arch Manning doesn't play well today. But like you said, we need to see Arch Manning look like the guy who was the top-rated player coming out of high school in 2020.
Yeah, we need to see the mechanics of the quarterback and his quarterback play. And, I mean, he can throw, like you said, he can throw for 500 yards today, and a lot of people won't care except for the head coach and the football team and the football program. But he has to look better. He has to lead the team, because this is going to be the guy who has to lead the offense, because there's not a lot of veterans on this offense that can step up right now. They haven't had enough, they don't have enough skins on the wall. They don't have enough experience to say, well, I'm the guy if things aren't going well. I don't see a lot of that offensively. I put a lot of it on that they need to play with a little bit of sense of urgency, especially on the offensive side of the ball. And who else is going to be leading this team when things aren't going well for your quarterback?
Right.
And I'm looking around going, well, there's not a lot of experience on the offensive line. The wide receivers are still trying to find their way. Maybe one of the running backs as the weeks go on, but he has to be the guy. He just needs to understand, the pressure is on you. You are the guy, and you have to get it done.
Well, that's it. And I think first and foremost today, Arch Manning just needs to look comfortable.
Yes.
He looked nervous last week. He
had enough time. I mean, the offensive line they weren't, the Green Bay Packer offensive line of old, but you know what? They did pretty well, I thought.
He only got sacked one time, and that was a play where Arch Manning kind of stepped up in the pocket late and sort of walked into a sack. He decided to take off and run, but he decided that a little bit too late.
Absolutely.
Ended up being like a 1 or 2 yard loss on that sack, but he didn't take a bunch of hits. You're right. He was given a lot of clean pockets, but he just looked rushed the entire time. Like he looked like he was in a panic. And again, though he got better in the second half, there were still too many nervy moments late in the game that cost the Longhorns dearly. Yeah,
when the head coach is telling you he may need to get some hits before the game, well, hit his ass before the game if you have to. run him into a wall, make him, hit his head into the stadium, do something. But don't tell me at the end of the game there's things he needs before the game. I mean, if he runs and really gets hit early, he's going to be okay. Well, then hit him, coach.
Yeah.
Hit him in the locker room.
Sure.
Whatever you have to do. But
right,
I don't want to hear
field.
about it after the game that he needs some to be knocked around a little bit. That's your job.
I don't know if that's true or not.
No, I don't. That's just one of those things that, you want to you want to get into the speed of the game. He's obviously meaning they wanted like to get him up to speed, and they did that. That first throw, like you said, they rolled him out for an easy throw.
Right. That should have been the one right there.
That should have been the one. You're right.
Perfect play call. It should have been an easy pitch and catch to get Arch in rhythm, but again, he short-armed it, and that was sort of the way the day went for QB1. But yeah, like this, it shouldn't happen today, right? The scaredness, the nervousness, the panic, the rush, that shouldn't happen today. You're at home, number one. You're playing San Jose State, number two. Like, you have to trust yourself.
Sure.
You know, Sark talked about Arch being himself going into last week. He also said, let it rip. I don't think Arch Manning let it rip last week. I don't think he trusted in his own arm and in his own ability, but also I don't think he trusted in his own teammates. And I don't think he trusted in this offensive scheme.
Yeah, and I think that's what stands out a little bit. We know we haven't talked much about that. What was his trust level and what the head coach was calling and what the position that he was putting him in? You may be right about that. I heard a lot about that this weekend. You know, there was things that Arch Manning would have liked to done that Steve Sarkisian may have not done. I mean, you got to have that trust between your quarterback and your play caller and your head coach that he's going to call the right plays. I'm going to get it done. I'm not going to feel nervous about it. I'm not going to have second thoughts on what I'm looking at. And that shouldn't have been that way last week. It really shouldn't have been. That should have been a game where, you know, the hype was there. The quarterback should have been as calm as can be out there. But he wasn't, and I understand.
Well,
I understand
tough situation.
Yes.
On the road against a great defense. You were also going up against a defensive coordinator that you had no film on. So Steve Sarkisian and Arch Manning, I'm sure they prepared for a bunch of different things, like, okay, maybe they do this, maybe they do that. They had no idea what Matt Patricia was going to run last week.
Boy, and he faked them out a few times.
Yeah, and that's a super talented defense.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's great designed by him, but also he has so much talent on that defense to where guys know what they're supposed to do. You can get away with disguises and confusion, and they're going to be able to do it well to where there's not a whole lot of breakdowns on the back end. It was about as tall of a task as you could have asked for Arch Manning going into his 2025
Yeah, there'll be some things he can lead this team today, doing some of the small things, you know, taking control of the huddle, being maybe more active on the sideline. You're going to be, because you're going to have more success.
Yeah.
You know, you're sitting there in Columbus looking for it. Where's my success here? I mean, I've gone through 1 series, 2 series. I haven't had much success. It's hard to run around and lead when you're not having any success. He should feel a lot of that good vibes here today.
I'm with you on that, Buck. I just saw something that I didn't think we'd see all day. A couple of San Jose State fans that just walked in.
Nice. Welcome to Austin.
And then they walked right back out. Did you see that?
I did see that blue, that pretty little blue that they wear.
And they walked in and like saw all these Texas fans in here, and they're like, "Yeah, no, we don't belong here. Let's leave."
It's time to go back.
But how about that? I didn't know if any San Jose State
do spend your
fan
money.
come. Yeah,
please do spend your money.
Thank you for coming. Thank you for supporting local businesses. Thanks for coming to Scholz. Get you a few beers, get you some food.
Get on back California. Bye.
And then go to the game, watch your team lose by 40, and then head back home.
That's right.
And we don't need any more Californians here.
No.
We got enough of you people already.
You people can go back.
I'm going to go ahead and say you people.
There you go.
Them. Yeah, too much of y'all around here. So, and they walked in and literally turned around and walked back out. They knew they were outnumbered, and they didn't want any part of that. Back into the Arch conversation. He has to make the easy stuff look easy. Like, he made a few spectacular throws last week. The touchdown pass to Parker Livingston was really good.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the wheel route toss to Jack Andrews on that last offensive possession was a great ball.
They dropped that one in the bucket.
There was a deep corner route to Parker Livingston that was great as well. Like, you could see the arm talent on display, but the easy throws looked so hard for him. You know, I gave you 3 great throws that he made. Unfortunately, the list of easy throws that he missed looked a lot longer. I see our guy Mason over there doing like the sidearm thing. Like, the easy stuff, the stuff that we saw Arch Manning do last year, and the stuff that anybody who plays quarterback at a place like the University of Texas has to do, Arch just couldn't do it consistently last week.
I mean, the finesse throws that's the deals. You play catch with one of your little nephews that's young and you don't want to fire it at him. They were right there. Just drop it off and let the guy run with it. I mean, he threw some fastballs in there at times.
Those crossing patterns.
Those ones that were behind.
They weren't just fastballs. They were fastballs at the knees, at the feet, behind.
Yeah.
So it's like, I think these Texas receivers can catch some fastballs. Now, you don't need a ton of zip on those crosses over the middle, but I got faith that, okay, even if you do have some extra mustard on them, if they're on target, if you're hitting your guys in stride, they're going to catch it and make something happen.
No, if you leave that one behind them and they've got to reach back and they know what's coming when they turn their head back around. No, they're going to short arm you too.
Like
at times.
What do you mean by that?
Yeah, I mean they're going to give you the okay, I'll stick this arm out, but I really don't want to catch it.
Yeah.
So you've got to put it on them where they can catch and see what's about to come in front of them also.
I wouldn't be opposed to Texas's first 5 passing plays today just being mesh concepts, crossing routes over the middle.
Sure.
And just, I want to see Arch Manning hit 5 of those in a row just to prove that he could do it, to give him that level of confidence. Again, we saw it last year. That's one of the reasons why I feel really good about Arch Manning and why I feel like what happened last week was just a blip on the radar. We saw him make those throws in the games that he played a year ago.
Right.
We just need to see it again this year.
Well, I mean, once again, this is a kid that plays against one of the tougher defenses in the country. He practices against some of the best players in the country. And it just, it just wasn't he just wasn't what we thought he was going to be last week. And yes, he was nervous. There is no doubt about it.
Yeah.
His nerves last week. And so, so you get a game or two under you, you start to build more confidence, more, as I said, more positive things happen to you. And all that stuff just becomes so much easier, BK. The overhand throws that you're used to throwing, you start to do that. You don't do the sidearm thing anymore,
The mechanics were so bad.
It was so bad.
And all of this stuff ties together, right? The mechanics, the accuracy, it all goes together. But just set your feet. Like the sidearm of home stuff, like Arch Manning has had the best coaching and training that any quarterback has ever had ever.
Yes.
With who his family is, obviously the fact that he's worked with Steve Sarkisian, who's one of the best offensive minds in the sport. This is year 3 that those guys have been together. There are very few quarterbacks in the world who have been trained up the way that Arch Manning is. Play the position the way that you've been taught.
Yeah,
you weren't taught to throw like that.
No, and you're just fortunate the way college football is today. You have a lot of games to make up for it, and you're still right in the thick of things because you have a good football team around you. Just let those people work with you and for you as you get better and you start to grow a little bit as a quarterback. So it starts today. Like I said, it started probably on Sunday. It started with the film session, the first film session where his head coach and quarterback coach probably ripped a good 5-minute session into him, letting him know that this is not what we expect from you. This is not what we taught you to do. This is not what you've been taught to do all your life. And you got to change that, and it'll change today.
Yeah, here's a little bit of sound from Steve Sarkisian talking about his quarterback, talking about some of what he saw from Arch last weekend, but more so the expectations for Arch Manning going forward.
I mean, sure, I always want him to play better. That's a job of a coach, right? And our job is to try to find ways for all of our guys to play better. And so for Arch, the expectations were out of control on the outside, but I'd say let's finish the book before we judge it. Right? This is one chapter, and we got a long season to go play.
I mean, the coaches that talk about the outside noise and all that, Coach, there's a lot that was riding on that game last week. We didn't do all this. We didn't make all this up. You had one of the best quarterbacks that in high school football come there. His time was up, and it just didn't get done. So don't worry about the outside noise. You're the University of Texas. You're going to always have the outside noise. We understand how you control we can only control what we can control, all that. It's the coach speak part of it. Sure. You've got to coach better, and he has to play better. That's all there is to it. You need better situational play calling yourself. There's another guy that needs to look in the mirror when it comes to what happened last week, too. And it's not just that quarterback.
No, you're right. You're right. And look, again, I'm never going to spin a loss as a good thing. But there was a ridiculous amount of pressure on Arch Manning last week. We've known that. I mean, I don't know if there's ever been a player more hyped up.
I've never seen it before.
When he hasn't done a whole lot at this level than what Arch Manning was going into week 1 of the 2025 season. Okay, he's no longer the favorite to win the Heisman. His team is no longer the number 1 team in America. I don't know if people are talking about him being the number 1 pick in next year's NFL draft. So you don't have to worry about that stuff anymore.
No.
Just go out there and play ball.
Just get better.
Yeah, just go out there and play ball. Like all that pressure, all that hype. This is not going to be the most watched game of the day today. It is on ABC at 11 o'clock, but there are a bunch of other games on. People are going to be locked into something else. Like you're playing at home. You got 100,000 people rooting for you instead of against you. You're playing against a worse team. Like just go out there and let it rip. But I wonder if, it's just, okay, that performance, hey, it's out of the way. It's behind you. No one's talking about you right now. Maybe that's a good thing for Arch Manning to just focus on playing ball instead of the outside noise.
And things did change as the second half when he became a little looser.
He did.
But and as I said, in championship games, that's a championship-type game that you're playing against Ohio States, the Notre Dames of the world, not the San Jose States of the world, but those are championship games. So you have to be up to championship standard, even though it's your first game.
Right.
If you play subpar like you did last week, it's going to hurt your football team.
Well, let me tell you this. I am grateful for the expanded playoff.
Yes.
Because the mood and the vibe around this team and around this season would be a hell of a lot different if.
Oh, my goodness. You lost game one against a team and the way you lost even.
Right. The BCS days.
Yeah.
Be
over with.
This is 20 years ago. Of course, the last time Texas played at Ohio State and you lose that game in week 2, then it's, season may be in trouble. Now, all right, put it past you. You got a lot of football left.
Yes, you do.
Every goal that you set out before the season is still in front of you. Still win the SEC, still make the college football playoff, still win a national championship. Obviously, you got to improve on a lot of things to make all of those things realistic possibilities. But, hey, put it behind you. It's one game. Move on.
Yeah, I mean, as you talk about the quarterback, the entire team has to get better. We were expecting some special things from special teams. It was just kind of, except for the punter.
That was pretty special.
That was pretty special.
The kicker didn't attempt a field goal, so we have no idea if he's any good. But,
we did see the punter come, and we thought he was pretty good, and he is.
Jack Bowmeister's awesome.
Yes.
What a weapon that guy is.
Jack, in injuries, he's a pretty good player, too. So there's some players that are going to develop as the weeks go on, and just let them develop. As I said, like you said, there's a lot of football to be played, a lot of games to be played. You just keep getting better each and every week. You'll be right back in the thick of things.
No doubt. One more thought on Arch Manning here before we give our offensive player of the game predictions. Some more good news about Arch. We've seen him bounce back from a subpar performance in his Texas career. Last year, his first start against ULM, he came in off the bench when Quinn Ewers got hurt against UTSA and lit up the field. I mean, he was incredible in that game. But his first start a week later against Louisiana Monroe, Texas won the game 51-3. Arch Manning, 15 of 29, 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. He made some mistakes, and it wasn't his best performance. The next week, against a better opponent, the Longhorns SEC opener versus Mississippi State, 26 of 31 passing, more than 300 yards, 2 touchdowns, 0 turnovers.
Yeah, I mean, if he gets it going with the receivers, if they're on the same page, he'll have a big day for a lot of weeks here to come.
Yeah, so last year, again, going up against a better opponent in the bounce-back spot, he was fine. This year, going up against a much weaker opponent, you're back at home. You actually have film of their defensive coordinator, so you kind of have an idea what he's going to call. I mean, there's about 1,000 reasons why this is a more favorable spot for Arch than last week.
The main reason is you have better players than they have.
That doesn't hurt.
Yeah, you have better players.
That never hurts. All right, we'll take your thoughts. Again, hit us up on the Clean Cause YouTube comment line. Of course, the Coda text line is rocking and rolling as well. Buck, how about our offensive player of the game predictions? Brought to you by our friends at Moonshine Patio Bar and Grill. We'll tell you more about them in a moment. Last week, you went with Arch Manning. I think most people probably were hoping it was going to be Arch Manning. I don't know if there really was an offensive player of the week last week.
No,
when
not
you score 7 points, I don't know if anyone deserves that honor.
Well, I'd like to give it to the offensive line, but they can't get it in from the 2-yard line in. So I wanted to be at the end of it when I didn't have Arch Manning as the guy. If they win the game, I would have said the offensive line is the group because that's the group that we were worried about more than anybody, except for the wide receivers. So,
what about today? Who's your prediction for offensive player of the game?
Well, there's a young man coming off a knee injury that this Texas staff just loves, C.J. Baxter. I think he's a guy that they want him to have so much success. I mean, they want to win, but they really believe in this kid. He's put on some weight. He's a much bigger kid. He's almost 230 pounds right now. I'm going to pick him today because I think he gets cut loose a little bit today. And then he may end up being the starter from this point on after today. He may have a huge day today, and he may be the guy that goes out first with this team. I love Trey Wisner. I love what he did last year. But there's just something about this particular young man that this coaching staff really, really likes. They want him to have success, he's coming off that knee. But he's my guy today.
I like that.
He's my guy.
I got to go with C.J. Baxter. I want to go with Trey Wisner.
Good. That's good too.
Is that okay?
Yeah. I mean, they've got to run the ball. I mean, they're going to get a bunch of carries in a game like this, unless they just want Arch to have so much success. They just overpower this group and decide we're going to throw it every down just to prove a point.
Right. And that's, again, Central Michigan last weekend against San Jose State ran it 51 times for 236 yards. They don't have the backs that Texas does. They don't have the offensive line that Texas does. Central Michigan was 4-8 last year. Their head coach, Jim McElwain, retired to hang out with more whales and sharks and take some weird pictures. He retires. So they bring in a new coach. It's a coach coaching his first game, and he goes on the road, and his team pounds the rock 51 times for 236. So it should be, it's going to be tough for Steve Sarkisian to keep a balanced offense because it's like Texas might average 6-7 yards a carry in this game today, and it's going to be tough. Like, okay, we need to get our quarterback going, but also our running backs are really good, and they can't stop us. But I think it's inevitable that these Texas running backs put up some big numbers today. So you're going C.J. Baxter.
Yes.
I'm going Quintravion Wisner. I think he goes for, $120 today, finds the end zone once or twice. And look, he looked pretty good. Averaged 5 yards a carry last week.
There was nothing wrong with him. I mean, there were 5 more carries to be had. I thought giving C.J. Baxter 10 carries last week, I would have limited that to maybe 5. Coming off the knee, I would have been a little hesitant to give him 10 carries or 9 carries. I'd rather had that going to Trey Wise, and I definitely would have given him more and let him really get to the kind of start that I thought he could have got to. I thought he was pretty good. I thought he ran pretty tough. Well, they both ran tough, but except for down that goal line, that has to change.
Well,
and that's everybody. That's a little bit of everybody. That's including the head coach. They got to change some of the things that they do and play calling down there.
Well, C.J. Baxter got 1 carry down there.
Yeah,
right. I mean, he's just 230
and from a
back.
dead standstill from back there in the shotgun.
Yeah,
no.
Yeah. So I'm not ready to say that C.J. Baxter can't be a really effective goal line back. He just got 1 opportunity from the 3-yard line. He got down to the 1.
Right.
He would have liked him to get into
give
the
him another
end zone.
opportunity. Yeah.
But I mean, I think C.J. Baxter could still be really good in that role this year.
You may see a lot of that in short yardage today where they just turn around and hand it off.
I think so.
3 times if they have to.
And
they shouldn't have to do it 3 times.
Right. They should be able to get there on the first time, if not
Absolutely.
that, the second. This coaching staff didn't treat C.J. Baxter like a guy who was coming off a very serious knee injury, did
No.
they? He talked about 10 carries, but he also had 5 catches in the game. 15 total touches. Quintravion Wisner obviously is fully healthy, coming off of a great season. He had 17 total touches in the game last week. So it was a pretty even split in terms of the running back workload. And maybe that means, C.J. Baxter's role is going to be a serious one.
Yeah, back in my day, I'd have guys knocking on my door going, hey, coach, what's up with this? Why am I'm the guy who just rushed for 1,000 yards. Why am I getting almost less carries than that dude right there? He's coming off a knee. What are we trying to do up in here?
He's the 5-star.
Oh, dude, yeah, it would be knock on my door, call to my home on a Sunday. That's how that was. I would be saying, hey, we're just trying to win the game. We're trying to get everybody involved, and guys like Ricky and Priest would be like, oh no, we don't need to get everybody involved.
No, I want to be involved. Please.
I want to be more involved.
Yeah, give me more carries. I don't want those guys taking the ball away from me. No, thank you. I'll tell you what, Buck. One thing, and of course, I want to pick your running back coach brain about this. One thing that I'd like to see more of today and more of moving forward, I need more electricity from the running backs.
Yes.
Again, you run for 166 as a team. You shouldn't complain too much with what the Texas run game did last week. But I don't know if there's a lot of home run ability right now with Trey Wisner and C.J. Baxter. Today, you should be able to run away from people. But whoever it is, maybe it's one of those 2 guys. Maybe it's Christian Clark, who should be making his Texas debut today. Maybe it's Jarrett Gibson going into year 2. Maybe it's James Simon, the true freshman. I don't know who it is, but I want to feel good that Texas has that home run hitter in the backfield that they kind of had with Jaden Blue last year.
Sure.
I would like to see some explosiveness, some more explosiveness from the ground game today.
Yeah, I mean, everybody. I don't think a lot of those guys are going to get great opportunities today in this football game. Whether it's the first quarter, the fourth quarter, late in the game, a lot of backs will get an opportunity to carry the ball because I got to believe the head coach wants to see who's that long home run hitter that I can count on in these games and the games to come. And I think they'll find that out today.
Yeah.
This is the day to do it. Early morning, get your running backs going, get the guys that need to have the carries early. But it's spatter a couple of these other guys, these young guys like Clark in there in a series. They don't need 5 series, but to give them 2 series or a series, a downs there, if they have some success, turn around and hand it to them again.
I kind of hope they do get 5 series in the second half. Like I hope Texas is up 4 or 5 touchdowns and they can say, hey, Trey Wisner, great day, you're done.
Yeah, that would be great.
C.J. Baxter, great day, you're done. Let's see what the younger guys
you got to find
have.
out what you got in Gibson, too. I mean, now he's been here for 2 years. What are you going to do with him? What is he going to be? Is he going to be here any longer, or is he going to start thinking about maybe time for me to move on?
Oh,
yeah, well, you can't. They can't all stay.
No, you're right. They can't all stay. All right, our offensive player of the game predictions. I want to make sure we don't forget about our friends at Moonshine.
Love the Moonshine Patio Bar and Grill. Nothing like it when it comes to brunch. You need to go on over there. have Dad open up the wallet, take out the credit card, and take everybody to brunch tomorrow at the Moonshine Patio Bar and Grill.
Hey, I'm free.
Hey, that's right. BK will take you on that.
If you've got your parents' credit card and you're looking for an extra person at your brunch table tomorrow.
Boy, they have a fantastic menu. They've got great happy hours during the regular week, but Sunday brunch is something special at the Moonshine. Don't worry about parking. They've got their own parking lot right there. So there's plenty of parking for you to come down to the Moonshine Patio Bar and Grill and enjoy a great Sunday brunch, because I know it's going to be packed down there for dinner tonight.
Oh, my gosh. You kidding me? Earlier game?
Oh, yeah.
All these people in town for game one? Yeah, absolutely. 20 years and counting. Our friends at Moonshine Patio Bar and Grill.
Two great locations, too.
You're going to love the experience downtown in Avery Ranch. Head over to moonshinegrill.com for more information or to make your reservation. We'll stick with the offense here, Buck, before we talk about the Texas defense. What about the wide receivers? Not great stat lines really for any pass catcher for Texas. I mean, the Longhorns only completed 17 passes for 170 yards, so there weren't a lot of gaudy numbers in the box score. Ryan Wingo, just 2 catches. DeAndre Moore, just 2 catches. Parker Livingston, 2 catches. Now, he made the most of his 2 catches. But what do you want to see from the receivers more today that maybe we didn't see a week ago?
Yeah, I mean, some one-on-ones where they just beat guys, where Arch Manning goes ahead and takes a shot. The guy's open, throw the ball to him, make the catch, and move right along there. We can talk about Sark and his ability to scheme guys open. I thought he did enough of that last week. The quarterback just didn't get the ball to the guys. They were open enough for them to make catches. But when I look at Wingo, I think he's still just a guy who's growing. He's not that natural route runner that you see some of these young guys all over the nation that are fantastic. They come out of high school, they run really nice routes. BK, they're ready to go in any type of offense with just subpar quarterbacks. I think he's somebody that Coach Jackson will continue to have to coach up on how to run routes, come out of the breaks a little bit quicker, a little bit more fluid out of there. He's like a big Clydesdale at times. When he gets the ball in his hands, it's fun watching him run because it's fun seeing who's going to try to tackle this guy. But when he comes out of his routes, sometimes it's not as crisp, And I think this will be an ongoing battle for him, even in his sophomore year, of learning how to be a route runner and not just a big kid that can get the ball away, And then I think what will happen is I think the quarterback will have a lot more faith in him when it's one-on-ones and deep balls where you'll throw it up and he'll just athlete you. He'll just go get it. He's going to get those over. But still, he's got to be a little bit better. Moore was open a few times last week. The ball just didn't get to him, and I just don't want him to turn into the guy that we saw disappear later in the season, with a foot injury. And, he had that game against Mississippi State where he caught a bunch of balls. But on a consistent basis, it was just we didn't see a lot of him. He became that guy that we thought, where is he? He's made some plays, but then all of a sudden he's not making plays. What's the deal with him? He has to be the consistent guy. And I think Arch wants him to be that guy.
Yeah, I do too.
And I think the offensive staff wants him to be that guy at wide receiver.
Yeah, I always bring this up. One of the games that Arch started last year, the Longhorns win against Mississippi State. DeAndre Moore had 4 catches, more than 100 yards, and 2 touchdowns.
Yes.
So there was some obvious chemistry between those 2 guys last year. You'd like to see more of it this year.
Sure.
But I want to go back to Ryan Wingo because I think he has the most number 1 potential.
No doubt.
And I think in the coach's perfect world, and I think in Texas fans' perfect world, Ryan Wingo is this team's number 1 receiver this year. He's 6'2", about 215 pounds. He was a track star in high school. He's incredibly fast. 2 catches for 35 yards last week. 1 run for 8 yards. Buck, I know you've been pretty keen on maybe making Ryan Wingo a bigger part of the Longhorn run game.
Yeah, I'm fine with it. I'm fine with a little jet sweep every once in a while with him because I've not seen him get knocked back for a loss. He's always falling forward, and he's got the ability, with that big body to make guys miss for a couple of yards. So you get in situations where you need 3 yards or whatever. There's nothing wrong with giving that guy a reverse. I'm fine with him. No. I'm fine with him getting first downs. You don't always have to turn around and give it to the running backs. He's like a big running back.
You're looking for more explosivity in your run game. I think that's the guy who can give it to you.
Yeah, and then if you want to do some things with screens with that guy, do it.
Yeah.
Please do.
I'm with you on that. Here's Steve Sarkisian. On Monday, he was asked about Ryan Wingo, right? What did Sark think about Wingo's 2025 debut? And also, what are the expectations for the second-year wide receiver moving forward?
I thought Ryan had flashes where it looked like, man, this guy is going to be the player that we know he can be. I thought there was other moments where I think he can be better, and I think he would probably tell you the same thing. And some of that is playing the amount of plays that he played the other night or the other day. That was a lot of plays that he played. And so from a conditioning standpoint, we've got to take a little bit off his shoulders as he builds to being that guy. There was opportunities that the ball was thrown to him to make plays. There was other opportunities when maybe he didn't get the best ball thrown his way, and there's other opportunities where maybe the ball didn't get thrown. But he's going to be a good weapon for us. He and DeAndre, we already know. But like I said, what an added bonus to have Jack and Parker make their plays, and then ultimately when we can get Emmett back going again. So we got plenty enough weapons that way where he doesn't feel like he has to shoulder the burden.
Yeah, I mean, he's not a polished wide receiver. He's a big-bodied kid who just dominated kids in high school. Just, the 160-pounder trying to cover him 5'9", 5'8". He just dominated it. He didn't have to run great routes in high school. He said, just throw the ball near me.
Guy who looks like me on defense.
Yeah, I'm just gonna push him down, and I'll make the catch. But he'll get better. He'll get better at that. But I mean, that whole conditioning thing. We saw him where he missed a couple practices. What was he doing all summer? Why are we talking about conditioning with a wide receiver? That seems odd to be talking about. We got to get him honed in on the conditioning. Well, what the hell did you do all summer? It's hot there in St. Louis area, isn't it?
I think so.
Okay, well, I don't need to hear about his conditioning. He's a wide receiver. He needs to be in good shape.
Yeah, that was a big storyline at the beginning of camp. It's Ryan Wingo missed about a week's worth of practice because of dehydration. And he came back, and he was really good in the last 2-3 weeks of training camp. And he clearly had separated himself as this team's best receiver. And all the insiders were talking about, how good the chemistry was between Arch Manning and Ryan Wingo.
Check his urine out before the game or something.
Oh, no, we're doing a Tom Herman.
Come on, Tom Herman.
Again.
Yeah, we got to do a P chart maybe for this guy.
We don't need any Tom Herman vibes here.
Come on,
we're
man.
past that, aren't we?
It's hard to hear somebody talk about a wide receiver and get him worked in there and get him into shape. It's the football season. That guy should have been in shape in June.
Right, for that game?
Yes.
Especially. That's the one you were working for all offseason.
Yeah, but he's not polished, BK. He's a guy that, over the next couple of years, he's going to always be that developing wide receiver guy that by the time he gets, when guys are leaving in their third year, he'll stay an extra year. He just wants to get better because he looks like he's going to be a fantastic player here later on and a fantastic pro with that body, but he has to be polished. He can't just go out on his own and try to make things happen. And that's Sark's job and Chris Jackson's job is to get him in the spots that maybe easy throws for him.
Yeah, I think right now Ryan Wingo's strength is his yards after catch ability.
No doubt.
You just got to get him the ball.
Right.
Like, there were 3 or 4 times where, if Arch Manning just puts the ball on the numbers, hits Wingo in stride, then I think Wingo turns up field, makes a couple of guys miss, and all of a sudden his day is a lot different in the stat.
Yeah, I'm not even throwing him the ball the first thing today. I'm jet sweeping him at some point.
Sure.
On a second down or whatever, just flip it to him in motion and let him run.
Yeah.
Let him get into the game.
That. Yeah. Sark talked about Texas having enough explosive playmakers. That's something I would like to see today. Yes. Texas only had 7 explosive plays last week against Ohio State. Just shy of 11% of their offensive snaps were explosives. Sark's talked about it a lot. His goal, when this Texas offense is right, is more than 20% of the plays that they run are explosive. So you should be able to get that against San Jose State. You lose Matthew Golden from last year.
Yes.
You lose Jaden Blue from last year. You lose Isaiah Bond from last year. Those were 3 of the fastest guys at the Combine a few months ago. I think Matthew Golden was the fastest offensive player at the Combine. So those guys were home run hitters. How many in that wide receiver room do you have? How many in that running back room that you have that can truly turn a 5-yard pitch and catch into 60, 70-yard touchdown?
You need to find out as quick as possible. That's for sure.
Yeah. And you got 3 weeks to figure it out.
And if it's a freshman that's not out there, find a way to get him in and get him playing.
Yeah, that's a big thing today, right? You should be seeing a lot more freshmen see the field. Only 4 members of the top-ranked recruiting class that the Longhorns signed in 2025 saw the field against Ohio State.
You get a little bit nervous about putting them out there when you got a close game.
Oh, I get it. I get it.
Coaches get a little tight on that.
That's a tough spot. But look, I mean, I thought the freshman who did played really well.
Yes.
Maybe the most positive for Texas coming out of game 1 was Grayson Littleton.
Oh, yeah.
The true freshman nickel corner.
He looked like a veteran out there.
He played 19 snaps. He was the highest graded player for Texas, according to Pro Football Focus.
He looked like a veteran that was just ready to play.
Absolutely. So I think you might have a few more of those guys. I mean, Dalen McCutcheon at wide receiver played 2 snaps. He had a catch, a first down catch on a 3rd and short. It's like, what? Maybe we should see a little bit more of these guys. So that's look, Arch Manning is the number one thing people are excited to see. but seeing what these freshmen, some true, some redshirt, can do over these next 3 weeks, I cannot wait.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a great opportunity, as I said, for this team to get better week by week. And now you've got the type of games that you have. So you get a chance to play a lot of players. You get to fix a lot of things that you couldn't fix in game one. But once again, you have to play within the framework of what the coaches are coaching you about right now. This isn't the time to panic and start taking things upon yourself. This is the way I want to do things. It's just, it can easily be done that way, and you can still have some success because of the teams that you're playing against.
Yeah.
But you want to play the scheme. You want the scheme to work because that's what will work for you. And when you get to these SEC games, and once again, you can't get that game back from last week. It doesn't come back. I know you want it. I know a lot of people would love to have that again, or maybe later on in the year. But the following week after you lose, you can't get that. You don't get the chance to play that game over again. You have to be careful of that.
Absolutely. All right, one more on the offensive side from Steve Sarkisian. He was asked about his vision for this Texas offense. In his perfect world, what does this offense look like?
We go down the field and we put it in the end zone. That's kind of, I mean, you want to be efficient. There's not negative plays, and which we didn't have many of. I think we had 30 some odd runs. It was one negative run. I think we had one sack in the game. So there weren't really negative plays, but you're efficient on first down. You're efficient on second down. You don't have quite as many third downs. And when you do, there's very few third and long type situations. There's timing and rhythm in the passing game. There's playmaking. There's speed. There's explosive plays. We didn't have enough explosive plays Saturday. I think we ran 64 plays and there was only 7 explosives. That's about 11% number. Our goal is to be 20% or higher. So that means we need to have about 13 explosive plays in a game like that. And I think we had chances to. It just didn't happen the way we would have liked. And so we've got to find ways to be efficient, but yet also be explosive. Stay in manageable third downs or don't have third downs. Win on first and second down. And then ultimately, we've got to be more efficient in the red area. And when we get our opportunities to score, we got to score.
Yeah, and you have to be urgent. I mean, you have to play with some urgency. That team did not play with urgency last week.
No.
Not panic, but just be urgent about breaking the huddle, getting to the line of scrimmage, looking like you're ready to go play. It was, I don't want to call it lethargic. You played at 11 o'clock. It was the most exciting, pre-hyped game in a long time in college football. So, you should have had some excitement to you. I didn't just see enough excitement by groups of players last week.
Yeah.
I was excited. College game day had me excited.
Sure.
Doing our show last week, I was excited about, game one. I just didn't see it enough from the guys who actually have to play in the game.
Right.
They didn't have that urgency about them. And that comes on the offensive side. I think the defense, they play with a sense of urgency because they hit, they go, and they get to be on the attack level. The offense didn't seem to be on the attack mode much last week.
I would love for Texas to march down the field on
absolutely
the drive and score. I think we talked about this on our show yesterday. Steve Sarkisian has coached and Texas has played 31 games since the start of the 2023 season. So really since Texas football was back to being what we want Texas football to be.
Mm-hmm.
They played 31 games, which means they've had 31 opening offensive drives. They've only scored points on 9 of those 31 drives. They played some bad teams. Obviously, they played some good teams.
Sure.
They played in some big games in that spot, but that's not good enough right there. Now, Sark is talked about as one of the best offensive scripters in the sport. He's got to find a way to come up with some sort of offensive
got to be an
script.
offensive motivator for his team. Let's get going right now.
You got a whole week to prepare
yes.
for this game and for every game that you play. You got to come up with a little something. I get it. You're not going to score on every opening possession, but 31%, that's not enough. I would really like to see Texas have some early success, give that offense some confidence, show that energy that you're talking about,
yes.
and hopefully Texas can cruise to an ezy win today.
Yeah, I think you'll see that, but it's not. And it's something that you look for every time they take the field. It's not like, with that first drive, they look great. But in the fourth drive, it looked like, there was no urgency again. You got to do that. Even if, sometimes fake it to make it. You got to show the rest of the people that are around you, you're ready to go. I think that comes with that illegal procedure stuff when that happens to you, BK. That takes some of the urgency away. That 1st and 15 and all that really hurts you. You get 3 of those in a game or 4 of those in a game. And it really, really hurts. And this team wasn't highly penalized last week.
No.
They did some. It's just
they were costly though.
It's just the unforced. not paying attention, the mentally focused part of it. And I don't want to accuse this group of not being mentally focused in football games, but there is a sense of urgency, I think, especially on the offensive side, that they need to start playing with.
No doubt. All right, we'll see if we see it. Again, kickoff at 11 o'clock this morning. Texas and San Jose State. The Longhorns now 37.5-point favorites.
That thing will rise as we go.
So it was 36.5 when I woke up this morning. It's up to 37.5, again, as we sit about 80 minutes away from kickoff right across the street. This is the Texas Sports Unfiltered Texas pregame show, broadcasting live from Singer-Lunday Hall inside the legendary Scholz Garten. If you're making your way to DKR today, stop by, sign up. We're raffling away a free pair of Ariat boots and Ariat denim jeans. It's completely free to enter. Come by, see us, get your drink on, get your grub on.
Absolutely.
The legendary lifetime Longhorn Earl Campbell will be here shortly signing some autographs. If you're going to the game, come see us. If you aren't going to the game, come watch the game here.
Absolutely.
We're in some air conditioning, man. Feels good in here.
Nice.
Yeah, I mean, it's not too hot outside, but it'll heat up a little bit as the day goes on. If you're looking for a place to watch today's game inside, come join us.
Absolutely. What a great place.
We will be here. All right, we've got our scoreboard updates brought to you by our friends at Gobundance. Now, we'll tell you more about them here momentarily. But, Buck, obviously, it's 9:41 right now. There's no games in college football going on right now. But I do want to get some quick thoughts on some of the big games that we do have today. Not a lot on the slate. There's only one ranked matchup in college football. And, well, it's where College Game Day is. Norman, Oklahoma, 15th ranked Michigan at 18th ranked Oklahoma. The Sooners 5.5-point favorites today. Any thoughts on this one?
Yes, I'm go Boomer Sooner today.
Oh, come on.
Yeah, sorry about that big blue.
Don't ever say those words.
Yes, I need them to be as best they can be in October. I want them to think that the world just revolves around them in Norman. I don't want them to come into that game at the Cotton Bowl with a loss. I want them to feel so good. I want their quarterback to feel good. I want their head coach to feel like he's going to keep his job. You know what I mean?
Brent Venables?
Oh, yeah. I want him feeling so good. I don't want them to lose. I don't want them to lose to the Big Ten. I don't want Michigan to beat Oklahoma. I want Oklahoma to go ahead and win. Dude. And that's hard to do. That's hard to say, but I'm doing that. I want them to be good today.
There's never been a time where I've rooted for Oklahoma to win. That's not going to happen today either.
Wow.
Even when they play A&M, I want them to tie so nobody wins. That's where I'm at when those two teams get together. Yeah, I'll be rooting for Michigan today. And I think Michigan's going to win. Like, Oklahoma's a 5.5-point favorite. It feels like everyone is picking Oklahoma to win this football game. I'm still not sold on Brent Venables. I am not sold on Oklahoma's offensive line. They struggled to run the football last week against Eastern Illinois. Michigan's defense is a hell of a lot better than that. I get it. Bryce Underwood, first road start. Oklahoma's got a very good defense. I think it's going to be low scoring. I think it's going to be ugly. But give me Big Blue. Go Blue.
Go Blue.
Is that what they say? Go Blue?
Go Blue. My goodness, that sounds.
I don't like Michigan very much. A bunch of cheaters up there. But I'll take cheaters over land thieves any day of the week.
That's for sure.
And, beer drinkers who can't drink real beer.
Yeah, that's a tough one. It's going to be tough for me to root for anyone. I'm just going to watch that game, not cheer for anybody.
It'll be tonight. That's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to put your best games in prime time.
There you go.
Fox, take notes, please. But that's your biggest game of the day. A couple of other interesting matchups. There is an SEC game today. 20th ranked Ole Miss on the road in Lexington to take on Kentucky. Kentucky actually upset Ole Miss in Oxford last year. One of the biggest upsets in SEC play. Any chance that lightning strikes twice?
I don't think so.
Once again.
I think Mississippi gets them back. I think Ole Miss, hotty toddy gets them back today.
Okay. I do too. They better.
Yeah, really.
Lane Kiffin can't be losing to Kentucky 2 years in a row. That is unacceptable. And then I'm going to give you three more games, and I just want your thoughts on one. You get to pick because, again, not a great slate of matchups today. You've got Baylor at SMU.
Nobody cares.
You've got Iowa at Iowa State, the battle for the Cy-Hawk Trophy.
Only people that are farming corn care.
And then an upset alert, 11th ranked Illinois at Duke today.
Go Fighting Illini.
That's your take?
There you go.
That's all you got on those games?
Sorry, yeah.
Illinois, 2.5-point favorites. We got an Iowa license.
License.
Is that yours or is that someone who left theirs at the bar? That's yours. Okay, Hawkeye fan here.
They got lights at the stadium today.
I guess I'll root for the Hawkeyes over the Cyclones,
right? For sure.
I'll take a door number 3 if one was offered. Iowa City. There we go. Yeah, the game is at Iowa State today. Little betting nug for the people. Iowa State has not beaten Iowa at home since 2011. They've lost 6 straight games at home against Iowa. It makes no sense.
Well, it's tough when you don't have lights in your stadium.
You know what? It is an 11 o'clock kick. It is a day game.
Oh, my goodness.
So maybe
no lights needed.
It won't matter too much. They shouldn't need lights to get through this one today, but who knows? So there you go. Our scoreboard updates. Those will be a lot more fun when there's actually games going on.
Oh, my goodness.
Texas isn't playing at 11 o'clock every week. But scoreboard updates powered by Gobundance. Texas football is built on legends. From Darrell K. Royal setting the standard to Matt Brown bringing home a national championship to Vince Young and Colt McCoy leading by example, the Longhorn way is more than talent. It's about discipline, brotherhood, and rising to the occasion. That's the same spirit behind Gobundance, a community of high-achieving men, business professionals, investors, and leaders who push each other to win, not just in business, but in life. If you're ready to live like a champion, then Gobundance is your team. Join the tribe today at gobundance.com/TSU, www.gobundance, gobundance.com/TSU.
I noticed you didn't have the Boston College versus Michigan State game in there as one of your highlight games tonight.
No, we're talking about games that people care about. We're talking about games that people are going to be watching. You went to BC. Are you even going to be watching that game tonight?
Of course I am tonight. I'm excited about that game.
How much money does your cousin have on that one?
On Michigan State?
On either side.
Tons.
And Michigan State is the side today?
Michigan State is the side.
Oh, my gosh. All right, bringing things back here to Austin. Let's talk about this Texas defense a little bit. Look, obviously, the Texas offense is the group that needs to improve. But, Buck, the Texas defense. I guess before we talk about today's expectation, I want a couple of thoughts on how you thought the Longhorns defense fared in game one. What did you like, and what do you think maybe needs to improve in the future?
Yeah, once again, situational football. I mean, that's just a part of it. You know, you can stuff them all you want to, but when it counts, you need to make the plays. I didn't see enough of the stars of this team. There are stars on this defense. They were okay as a group, but sometimes the stars just have to shine.
Yeah. And
nobody really stood out. I mean, there was a young player, number 29, the defensive back that we talked about. I thought he looked like a star. He looked like a star in the making, and he started on the big stage, and it didn't bother him. But I didn't see the stars really shine. You know, I was waiting for Simmons to have this unbelievable game where he dominated the line of scrimmage. That didn't happen. Anthony Hill was good, but he wasn't great. And when you play on the stage, the magnitude of games like Ohio State's, the Notre Dame's, like we say, the Georgias, the stars have to shine.
Yeah.
I didn't see them really shine. I thought they played great team defense, but you need your stars to get a turnover, make something happen, strip a ball or whatever. They ran the ball enough for somebody to hit a dude and make him drop it.
Yeah, I'd like to see more from Colin Simmons today.
Yes.
And I get it. Ohio State's game plan was centered around getting the ball out of Julian Sands' hands
Yes.
quickly. But, I mean, Colin Simmons last week, 2 tackles, no sacks, no quarterback hits, no TFLs. I mean, the most memorable play that he had was that 15-yard hands to the face penalty on a 3rd down that kept Ohio State's first scoring drive alive, and ultimately they got into the end zone. So, yeah, Colin Simmons was a guy who was doing a lot of talking, and I'm fine with that. Have confidence, have swagger, believe in yourself. But if you're going to talk the talk, you got to go out and walk the walk.
Well, yeah. I mean,
Colin Simmons was talking about breaking Texas's single-season sack record, which is 22.5.
I don't care if they have a one-step drop. Then you need to go ahead and get your sack in there then.
Bad start with 0 sacks in game one. He was held in check. That guy's got to unleash some fury today.
Yeah, he's got to be mad. I got to believe there's a lot of guys on the defense that are stars and they're fantastic players. They get 0 turnovers in a game like that. Somebody's got to hit somebody and make them cough the ball up.
Yeah, and again, it's so hard to be critical of anything the defense did because they were so good last week. You hold anybody to 14 points, you should win that game 100 times out of 100. But no takeaways, 0 sacks, only 1 TFL. Like, it was clear your offense needed something to get going.
So you need to give them a little bit more.
I get it.
You gave them enough, but guess what? You need to give them a little bit more.
I get it. The offense wasn't holding its own in the complementary football aspect.
But we already knew that the defense needed to be the thing that really keeps you alive early in the season. And they were okay, but hey, give me a little bit more. And because it only needed a little bit more last week.
1 takeaway would have been nice.
Yes.
That could have been the difference in that football game, just to give Texas a shorter field.
By the way, you don't have to let them in the end zone either. When they go goal line, you can stuff them too where they don't make it.
Yeah, and that, again, was the difference in the game, right? Both teams had a 4th and goal from inside the 1-yard line.
Yes.
One team got it in and one team didn't.
You're absolutely right.
So, yeah, it would have been nice for Texas. This Texas defense was great at goal line stands last year.
Yes.
They had a bunch of them in some big spots too. But unfortunately, they just couldn't make that game-changing type of play on defense. Today, again, you don't want just one turnover. You want a crooked numbers worth of turnovers today.
Yeah, against this group today, you should have that.
You're going up against a quarterback who has a big arm, but
and he's going to throw it 50 times.
He's going to throw it a bunch. And again, he's got more career turnovers than touchdowns. So he's known to cough it up a little bit. He fumbles it a decent amount too. So you're this Texas pass rush. You're going up against this San Jose State offensive line. You should be able to win a lot of one-on-ones here. And even if San Jose State's game plan is, hey, let's get the ball out of Walker. He gets hands quickly. You should be able to be in his face quickly too.
No doubt.
Something I'd like to see today. Here's a bit of sound from Steve Sarkisian. Make sure I've got this one right. Yeah, here's Sark on Monday talking about his defense failing to create a turnover against Ohio State.
Well, I didn't think they gave us a whole lot of opportunities in the pass game. I thought it was a very cautious pass game that they played with, and to their credit, it was effective enough. They really didn't beat themselves in the game. Where I challenged the guys this morning was, there was a lot of runs internal, and I felt like we weren't good enough with the second tackler in at attacking the ball. When the first guy had him wrapped up, we really pride ourselves on the second guy in punching and stripping that ball. I think we can be better there, but we've got to practice that better in practice. And so that'll be a mindset of ours. We attack the ball as good or better than anybody in the country. We just need to do it in game. And if you want it to happen in game, as you guys heard me say this before, you get what you emphasize. We got to emphasize that in practice more than we have as a coaching staff, and demand that out of them on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, so they can come to life on Saturday.
Yeah, you got to force that at practice. You got to, yeah. As I said, I watched Ricky Williams for years run 100 yards when he carried the ball, and guys would be like, "Where are you going?" I'm getting used to running long plays, long touchdown runs, making long plays. So I can't do that just in the game. I have to practice doing that stuff, and he did that, and he was pretty good at doing it. And so you have to do the same thing. If you want turnovers, you got to do it at practice, and there was not enough guys. They ran the ball enough inside for a guy to strip a ball in that football game. They may not have thrown it enough. You did a good enough job in the passing game, but you didn't do enough job in getting turnovers in the run game, we thought last week.
Now they had 34 carries as a team, so there's 34 opportunities.
Give me one of those.
To force a fumble. And, of course, credit where it's due. You give Ohio State some love for protecting the football. But, Sark talks about getting what you emphasize. All off season long, it sounds like he was emphasizing
no
takeaways.
doubt.
I'm telling you, he said that so many times that was a goal. That was something this Texas defense wanted to get better at this year.
And he has the type of players to do it. He's got the type of defensive lineman to do that,
that's
too.
That's the thing. There's so much talent on this Texas defense that it feels like, you should be getting one or two takeaways every single game, even against teams like that. And you just didn't do it. So
but not only takeaways and score.
That works.
That's
score,
part
pick six.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
We don't complain about that. What about your defensive player of the game prediction, Buck? This is brought to you by our friends at Kenfield Golf Cars. We'll tell you a little bit more about them in a moment. We talked about some of the stars maybe needing to step up a little bit more today. Who is your pick for defensive player of the game?
Well, I think Ethan Burke is going to dominate today.
I like that.
I think he's going to dominate the football game on the defensive line.
Friend of the show?
Yeah, I think he's going to be in the backfield. I think he's going to cause havoc with the run game, which they won't do a lot of. But he's going to have his arms up. I think he's going to get 2 batted passes today and 2 sacks in this football game.
I like that.
Yeah, he's long, and he can really make some things happen. And my expectations are he's the guy that's going to get that done for the defensive line.
Okay, Ethan Burke.
Yes. He's not going to be back there defending the pass, but he's going to be a part of making the pass really difficult for this quarterback.
I'm going to go with Manny Muhammad.
There you go.
Manny Muhammad has 1 career interception. He's been very good at Texas. He's in his 3rd year as the starter. He did a lot of things right last week. Again, he's done a lot of things right over the course of his Longhorn career. The next step for him is being more of a ball hawk. He's sticky in coverage. He's always right with the receivers he's with. And look, Texas went up against the best wide receiving core in college football last week. I thought the secondary more than held its own in that matchup more often than not. But they need those takeaways, and Manny Muhammad, for him to take his game to another level, I think he's got the chance to be a first-round pick. I really do. I think he is that talented. But if you want to be in the Thorpe Award conversation,
you gotta have some picks.
If you want to be a bona fide first-round pick, you have to show that ball hawking ability I think we see some of it today. Again, Walker Egan turns the ball over a lot. San Jose State, they're going to be throwing the ball a lot. There's going to be plenty of opportunities, I think, for Manny Muhammad to make that play. I think we see a little more aggressiveness for him, and I think he ends up with an interception and a couple of PBUs in this game.
Sounds
today.
good. That sounds good. I think that's a good choice.
Thank you very much.
That's a good.
The first time you've said that about
that is a
anything
good
I've ever
choice.
said. It's the nicest thing you've ever said to
That
me.
was absolutely fantastic. Good. That's that. I mean, you've studied that really, really well, knowing they're going to throw it 80 times today.
I couldn't sleep last night.
Maybe one will fall into his arms somewhere. Fall out of the sky right into Manny Muhammad's arms.
I'm in it as a vote of confidence, not as maybe he'll luck into one.
No.
I mean, he's going to go out and make the play.
By the way, if they throw it 70 times, you do get every once in a while get the chance to luck into one.
If they throw it 70 times, I want
Tip ball.
5 interceptions.
There you
today.
go.
Like they shouldn't be running 70 offensive plays in this game because that means they're able to pick up a lot of first downs and control the clock. I hope that's not the case. I hope Texas is running like 80 plays today, and I don't need to see that from San Jose State.
No.
But if they are going to be throwing it that much, then
5 picks, yes.
5 picks. That is the goal right there. All right, our defensive player of the game prediction. I don't know why it took me so long to say the word player there. Brought to you by our friends at Kenfield Golf Carts. If you are in the market for a newer pre-owned golf cart, got good news. Our friends at Kenfield Golf Carts are right around the corner. They were founded back in 1979, and they've got an unparalleled selection of different golf carts available in both new and used. And they want to turn your golf cart ideas into reality. No job too big, no job too small for their team, whether it's turning your existing golf cart into your own design or having them build a golf cart to specifically fit your family's needs. Nobody does it better than Kenfield Golf Carts. Check out their website, kenfieldgolfcars.com, or give them a call, 512-258-8515. Make sure you tell them that Texas Sports Unfiltered sent you.
Absolutely. You know, BK, this is a game that, you know, with the offense of San Jose State, you know, only in the second year of getting away from the option and into the throwing game and throwing a lot, that you don't disrespect your opponent, but you have to abuse this group. You got to let them know they still got a long way to go when it comes to the throwing game and to play the regular game of football and not the option. I mean, this coaching staff, once again, they've done a fantastic job. And the transition from what they are used to as a staff to do this in 2 years and then lead the nation, I mean, be the number 4 team in the nation in passing, I mean, that's incredible to do.
Yeah.
Because you don't have the type of players. You walk into a place like San Jose State, you know, you've got a couple athletes that maybe better than the guys that you had at Navy, but you don't have a bunch. So when you go out and then bring them in, and now you're putting in a totally different offense, and you're doing it only in your second year, and now you're number 4 in passing offense. That's good coaching. They got good coaches on their staff.
Yeah, I think people respect Ken Niumatalolo.
Yeah.
I mean, Steve Sarkisian all week long was singing praises of Ken Niumatalolo. He's one of the most liked, I think, coaches in the industry right now.
Yeah, I mean, and then coaching. You know, you've got to coach those guys that are disciplined, that played at Navy, and the discipline that they have to have every day. And then to bring this into a football game, not life and death, not getting on ships and everything else, but, you know, playing a game, and to do that and do it with such success. I mean, they're not going to be there very long. I can't imagine them being there for more than 2 more years.
We'll see. Yeah, Niumatalolo, the winningest coach in Navy history. I think he was there for 16 seasons, went to 11 bowl games. That's not what Navy football was about before he got there. So he did a great job there. And you're right. I mean, it was a really successful year 1 at San Jose State. But the Spartans lost a lot of talent from last year.
They did, boy. They lost a great receiver.
They lost their top 2 receivers. The one guy you're talking about, Nick Nash, was a finalist for the Bolitnikoff Award last year, and he was ridiculously good. That guy was a difference maker for that team. He's now in the NFL with the Atlanta Falcons. They just don't quite have the talent this year that they did last year. But there are some interesting players on the San Jose State offense. Again, last week, not good for them. They only scored 14 points in a loss at home to Central Michigan. They were 2 touchdown favorites in that game, and they actually went down 13-0 early and had to claw back in to make things interesting. The offense didn't have the same that it had last year. So we'll see. I mean, this should be a good game for Texas. If you can only score 14 against Central Michigan, you feel like Texas could hold this team to single digits today.
Oh, I believe it'll be that way. They may get one late. You know, when Texas gets down to their 3s and 4s, they may get one late where they're still looking for what they want to do, you know, with some of their starters. So I think they'll get double digits.
Okay. I hope they don't. I think the goal for Texas is to keep. When you give up 14 to Ohio State, you'd like to think you can give up less to San Jose State, right?
For sure.
Again, this is a team that throws the ball a lot. So the one thing that I'm going to be paying the most attention to for this Texas defense is how they look in the secondary, but more specifically what their communication is like.
No, there's no doubt.
We didn't really see. Ohio State had one big play in the passing game last year. I don't know if it was a communication breakdown. It kind of just looked like Jalen Gilbo got beat by Carnell Tate, who's a former 5-star, future NFL player.
Oh, yeah, that's just a one-on-one. Sorry.
Yeah, and Gilbo got beat. He recovered nicely, almost broke it up. Carnell Tate had to double catch it. He made a great play on the ball. But Texas did not have any major breakdown defensively last week. You'd like to see that again. A team that's going to throw the ball a lot, so there's going to be opportunities for you to screw something up. That communication in the secondary that was so strong last year, without Jahdae Barron there, without Andrew Makuba there this year, that was a question I think a lot of Longhorn fans had. Obviously, 2 new coaches back there as well. What's the secondary communication like? Hopefully we see it hold up today.
Yeah, I think it will. I think it will.
Yeah, and one guy to look out for San Jose State, wide receiver Danny Scudero, 5'9", 174 pounds. He's like, 5 inches taller than you, Buck?
No, he's my height.
No.
And he weighs just a little bit more than I do.
Most people have a playing weight. You had a playing height. You definitely shrunk from where you were. Or at least what you say you were.
5'9".
There's no chance you're 5'9".
5'9" all the way.
I don't believe that for a second. But this Danny Scudero cat kind of reminds me of Danny Amendola.
Oh, boy.
Maybe I'm cheating a little bit. White guy named Danny who's short and undersized.
Plays in the slot.
9 catches, 189 yards, and a touchdown last week. So we talked about Grayson Littleton a little bit earlier, how impressive he looked in his 19 snaps for the Longhorns.
That's who they're going to try to get the ball to, obviously.
I think Littleton's going to get a lot more run in the slot with that star position in this Texas defense. That's a matchup right there. Scudero, I think, is the most talented offensive player that San Jose State has. So, again, Grayson Littleton against better competition last week, more than held his own. He had a great one-on-one win against Jeremiah Smith. Then the next play, he had a great one-on-one win against Brandon Innes, another 5-star. This should be a matchup that Littleton wins, but it'll be a good test for him today.
Yeah, let me ask you this about the defensive line. Some of the transfer portal guys that are coming in, Sark got a whole handful of them. What would you like to see from a couple of those guys that we maybe didn't see against Ohio State? They played well, but no real standout. I mean, a lot of people are they're still trying to get snaps for guys. Obviously, they will be over the next couple of weeks. But who would you like to see step up a little bit
on the defensive line?
Yeah, on the D line.
I think it's all the edge rushers, right? Like I feel like the interior did a great job against the run.
So you think right now, even after game 1, you saw enough of some of the guys, the new guys, that you thought they did a pretty good job there?
So let me make sure I get this stat right. Of the top 5 defenders in the SEC, Texas had 3 of the top 5 rush defenders in the SEC last week. Let me rephrase that. According to Pro Football Focus, Texas had 3 of the top 5 highest graded rushing defensive linemen.
Skill set and the way they played, that's pretty good.
Yeah, Cole Brevard, it was Hero Canoe, and I think it was Alex January. So Texas was able to rotate 5 defensive tackles in that game, and they all held up really, really well.
I should have asked you these things during the week. I'm waiting at damn game day to start asking. How about LaFau? How do you think he played last week?
I thought LaFau was maybe the best defensive player for Texas last week. I mean, he led the Longhorns in tackles with 9. He was all over the place. He did have that hands to the face penalty that negated the safety. That would have really helped Texas. They were struggling to score points at that time in the game. But I thought Leon LaFau had a really, really good day. I thought he was the best linebacker on the field for Texas.
Awesome.
That's hard to do when you've got Anthony Hill right next to you. So LaFau's another one of those guys that I think could be a takeaway guy for this Texas defense. Again, you're looking for guys to take the ball away. But, yeah, going back to the defensive line, I was very impressed by the interior guys. Cole Brevard is a mountain of a human being. That's a tough dude to move around right there. I thought he was really good. I thought Alex January was really good as well. And, yeah, there's a lot of depth there. But it's just the pass rush. It's more from the edge rushers. Like those guys get credit. Yeah, the guys
are supposed to be stars, yes.
Yeah, those guys get credit for stopping the run too, obviously.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
But you need to get more pressure on the quarterback. Again, no sacks last week. You were top 5 in the country in sacks. You feel like you have the best
first-time starter
in the country. Yeah, I mean, everybody said a couple of guys in that Texas locker room said that their goal was to lead the nation in sacks this year. They had 0 in game 1.
You're right.
Still time, and not every team you play is going to be as good as the team you just played. But, again, you talk the talk. That's great. You got to walk the walk.
Absolutely.
On that thing. So I'd like to see, more Colin Simmons today, more Ethan Burke today, more Colton Vosick today.
And it's time to get after him in the special teams. I mean, if special teams is going to be a part of it and you put an emphasis on your special team, then you've got to go after a punt today. I mean, you play against this group, you've got to go block one today.
Well, that's a good segue to your three
Yes.
keys to victory, and maybe one of them is special teams. But Bucky's three keys to victory brought to you by our great friends at Sue Patrick. Tell you a little bit more about them in a moment. What do you have for the Horns today, Buck?
Number one, confidence and a fast start offensively. Play with urgency. I'm not wanting you to play with panic. Don't be panicked and rush up and all of a sudden the guy jumps because you're so. It's not. That's a different type of urgency. But you've got to be the one that jump starts this team today. The offense needs to be get going. Playing against a team like this for sure. That's number one. Stop the big play, the explosive plays. Obviously, they'll throw the ball 50 sometimes probably today.
Yep.
You can give up an explosive here or there, but you can't give up 3 or 4 of them in the passing game. You can give up 1 maybe, but you can't give up more than 2.
Okay.
For sure. And special teams, you got to play big. You can't talk about how you're going to be special in the special teams and not be special at all. And their punter's still got to stay valuable, but you got to do some things where you scheme it up, where you get in there and block a punt and change the atmosphere around the stadium early in the football game. And I mean early in the game. Like when they're first get ready to punt, go get it.
Are you calling it?
I'm calling go get it. I'm calling, hey, not only go get it, if you have to go ahead and rough them up, you have to rough them up. But I want you to go, I want to full out go get it.
What are we putting a bounty on the San Jose State punter today?
I want you to take a good angle, but if you happen to get some toe with it and all that, then do.
Legendary Earl Campbell.
He is here.
Is in the building. Go get some pictures. Go get some autographs. He's over at the table next to us. The field's still named after him, right?
Yes, it is.
Campbell Williams Field.
Absolutely.
I like that bit. It was a good move by Chris Del Conte a couple years ago, changing up the name. All right, so you're calling for a punt block today?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We're getting
Not
one
that
today.
you want one. You think it's going to happen?
Oh, no, it's going to happen. I mean, it may happen, second quarter or whatever. I like first series when they get ready to punt.
Oh.
And they're thinking, oh, boy, now we got to kick it back to this offense. Go ahead and block it.
Yeah. Scoop it and score it, too.
Yeah, scoop and score. But sometimes you got to be careful of the angle that you take.
Right.
If you happen to hit that leg, that just happened. You know what I mean? Your defense will stop them.
Well, Jeff Banks, the special teams coordinator, did say at the start of training camp that this unit was going to be more aggressive.
Yes.
Last year was more of a return game, right?
They were.
This year they're going for more aggression in their punt return. And we didn't really see that last week against Ohio State.
And you want the punt returner to field the ball.
Yeah.
You didn't think he did a great job at that.
No, that was pretty annoying last week, right? Ryan Niblett, he had a couple of opportunities to return punts, or at least
these are his opportunities.
Well, the job is punt returner.
Yes.
Not let the punt bounce and then roll 15 yards.
And then pick it up.
And then maybe pick it up or let the other team pick it up. Like that's annoying. That really ticks me off. So, yeah, maybe Texas getting something in the return game wouldn't be the worst thing in the world today. And I don't want to see the punter a lot. As good as Jack Bomeister was last week, and he was a weapon, and that's great to know that you have that weapon.
You don't want to see him.
You don't want to see the punter much today. Maybe once, maybe twice.
You want to see the guy kicking extra points a lot.
You want to see Mason Shipley today.
Yes.
You don't want to see
kicking extra points.
Kicking extra points. And maybe a field goal or two. Like, not because I want drives to stall out, but points aren't a bad thing, number one.
Give him a shot.
And number two, I want to see if he's any good.
He
didn't kick a field goal last week. And it sounds like he had a pretty rough start to fall camp, but sounds like he picked it up towards the end. Like, you talk about guys getting confidence in these next 3 games before you go into SEC play. Texas probably won't have a lot of big kicks in these next 3 weeks.
Yeah.
They're going to have some in October and November and December.
Yeah, I'd like to see the head coach go ahead and take 3 every once in a while. Just give your kicker an opportunity. These next couple of weeks, as you said, BK, if they're putting 40 and 50 points on these teams, how about giving him an opportunity? You don't always have to go for it on 4th down. Let's say bring in the kicker. Let's see if he can kick. We may need him down the road here.
Yeah.
Maybe in a championship game.
That's one of my big questions today, believe it or not. Like, are you going to see what you have in the kicker? He's really good.
Interesting.
Texas State, he made nearly 89% of his field goal attempts.
Give him a shot at it.
We haven't seen any of that at Texas. And again, shouldn't be any big kicks today, but you'd like for him to be able to build up.
So you're
confidence.
okay from the 40-yard line in. If it's 4th and 2 or 4th and 3, you don't have to go for it. Go let your kicker try to get one in there.
40-yard line in. You're talking about like a 57-yard.
No, let's just leave it at 45 total, yards for your kicker.
Hey, if you have a Brandon Aubrey back there, use it. Talk about weapons. You got a kicker who can make from high 50s.
The best player on that team too.
That's not CeeDee Lamb.
No,
I can tell you that.
Not this week it was.
What we saw on Thursday night. It's not CeeDee Lamb. Buck, we've got some we got a story potentially brewing here. A little rain in the area right now.
I saw enough of that on the drive back last
You
night.
did tell the people that we were not going to have any precipitation today.
We're going to be just fine.
You're already wrong on that. It's already raining in certain parts of Austin.
Oh, it'll be fine for the game. It'll just cool you off a little bit.
Hopefully, there was a long lightning delay in the Cowboys game the other night. I don't want to see one of those today.
I had one of those last night for over an hour.
Oh, up in the Metroplex?
Oh, my goodness.
For the high school game?
Yes.
Man, you can't wait to get out of that place anyways. You got to wait another hour for a delay.
Oh, I was calling on that one to end.
Yeah. So we'll see. Hopefully weather not a factor today. Small chance of rain right now. Again, it sounds like some parts of the area are getting it, but hopefully that's not going to be an issue. Hopefully it just cools it down a little bit outside.
The only thing bad last night was, you know what, for the band parents, they didn't get a chance to see the band.
No halftime show?
No, 2 minutes. It was 2 minutes, like a quarter, like switch of the quarters. After we'd waited for over an hour, they said it's time to go, and there was no halftime. There's no halftime, no band, no cheerleaders, no cheer squad. 2 minutes to go. We go right into the third quarter and let it roll.
It's all about football.
No, it's not all about. No. It's the kids. Extracurricular activities. I wanted the cheer squad. They practice all week. They deserve to get out there. I'm about the dance team.
It's tough when you take a 4-hour bus ride up there and don't get to perform in front of anybody.
No, then you get back on the bus and come home in the rain.
Brutal. All right, a couple of other questions as we get into our final 20 minutes here. Our Texas football pregame show, getting you set for kickoff between the Longhorns and the San Jose State Spartans. Of course, before we wrap things up, we will give our game score prediction, brought to you by our friends at Paul's Motor Works.
Love those folks there for sure. Say hello to our friends over at Horseshoe Bay Resorts, hsbresorts.com for more information on how to spend a week. You can spend a week. You can come here for a game, but you can go out there on Tuesday, play some golf out there on 4 great courses and all the amenities that they have at Horseshoe Bay. You'll absolutely love them. Just about, am I going to say 45 minutes from here, or am I going to be lying if I say Horseshoe Bay 45 minutes from here?
Well, it depends on how fast you drive. You can get there in 45 minutes from here.
I know I do. I get there in 30 from where I live
on
Dripping Springs.
I'd be going 100 to make that happen, but you can, I'm sure, get there.
Oh, I love that place. What a great place. What a great place to vacation, staycation, or just enjoy a couple days of playing some really good golf out at Horseshoe Bay.
No doubt about that. And a shout out to Covert Bee Cave
and
AV Consultations as well, our title sponsors for our Texas pre- and post-game shows all season long. All right, a couple of other things that I want to see and a couple of other questions that I think need answering for this Texas team. Buck, I kind of want to know who the backup quarterback is. Like, the hope is we see maybe 3 or 4 quarterbacks play today because Texas has a 5-touchdown lead in the second half, and you could tell Arch Manning, hey, thanks for everything. We don't need you anymore. But that's a competition. You know, Steve Sarkisian was asked about it this week, and he said it's fluid. So I don't know if it's the Troy transfer Matthew Caldwell. I don't know if it's the redshirt freshman Trey Owens. I don't think the true freshman KJ Lacey will be the first guy off the bench. But that's a question that maybe we'll get answered today.
I think you would probably see the guy with the experience be the second guy in. Who's played from Troy.
Okay.
I would think he'd be the next guy up, because in a pinch, you want somebody that's been in games, even though it's the Fun Belt, but he's actually been in games. He's a veteran player. I really like to see a lot of him pretty quickly. I'd like to get into a nice rhythm, get things going by the third quarter, have this kid come in and play some substantial amounts, and then the other kid in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, I mean, you can't replicate real game experience, right? So
he has to be in there getting it done.
Whoever the backup is, and again, Matthew Caldwell's played a lot of college football before, but he's never been on a Power 4 team.
And how excited would that dude be in this stadium 100%. And get a game like that?
Yeah, Trey Owens he had a great spring game last year. It's about all we've seen out of Trey Owens. So to get that dude some actual playing time. Again, you need Arch Manning to stay healthy, but
for sure.
I think any Texas fan knows that it's pretty rare that a Longhorn quarterback is able to stay healthy over a long season.
You need to know who number 2 is going to be.
So you got to know who your number 2 is going to be, and you got to see some good things, I think, from your number 2 today. And then some other guys. You're talking about some of these youngsters, right? Plenty of Longhorns will be making their Texas debuts today. And Steve Sarkisian and everybody on this Texas coaching staff, they have spent countless hours talking about the need for depth.
Yes.
We're playing a lot of games, especially here in the first month of the season when it's hot here in Austin, Texas. You got to be able to rotate guys. There's no better time to manufacture that depth than over these next 3 weeks when you've got home games against San Jose State, UTEP, and Sam Houston. Few guys that I really want to see today, Christian Clark. Talked about him a little bit earlier. If there's one person, if you're telling me, BK, who's the one player that maybe you haven't seen that you're most excited to see take the field is Christian Clark?
Yeah, I also want to see Gibson. I'm with you. I want to see these young running backs that, we talk about explosive runs. Give them the opportunity. Let's see them get in the games and then have those kind of opportunities so you can trust in them as SEC play as it comes, You don't get a chance to just turn around and give a guy 1 or 2 snaps. He has to be in for series, which means he has to pass protect. He has to block for the run himself. He has to pick up blitzes, things like that.
Yep.
Give those guys those opportunities, and you don't get that on 1 or 2 snaps, and mop-up duty. You have to be in for a series or 2.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we saw, I think, 23 defensive players play last week against Ohio State. That was against Ohio State on the road in a game that was close throughout. Today, I think you should see 30, maybe 40 defensive players
no doubt
on the field today. And it's not just about seeing what you have with them right now. It's about you got to see these guys could be key contributors for you in conference play.
No, in a couple of weeks they're going to be getting involved. And if they have success against this group, they're going to get those opportunities to play in those games too.
No doubt about that. So yeah, Christian Clark, Jarrett Gibson, those 2 running backs. I think Christian Clark, maybe out of any tailback that Texas has, may have the most make you miss ability. He may be the biggest home run hitter. And we're also Trey Wisner's got good hands. He had 44 receptions last year, but you're looking for that Jaden Blue type who could be like a difference maker in your passing game out of the backfield. I don't know if that's Trey Wisner.
But yeah, and I feel the same way about the receiving group. If there's one of those explosive freshmen that just walked onto your campus and is ready to go, if he makes a big play, and over the next 3 weeks, guess what? He can make a big play in the SEC games. Why not?
I think it's, again, it's hard to be critical of a lot that Steve Sarkisian has done because Texas has had a bunch of success the last couple of years.
Just add to it. That's all.
Well, the tight circle that he keeps in that wide receiver room.
Yeah.
I think in 2023, when you had Xavier Worthy, Adonai Mitchell, and Jordan Whittington, makes some sense. Last year, you've got Matthew Golden, first-round pick, Isaiah Bond, Silas Bolden. I still thought Ryan Wingo and some of the younger guys should have gotten more run. This year, you only get 1 transfer receiver, and he's hurt right now.
Yeah, very interesting that you say that because that's why now as I continue to talk about Wingo being one of those ever-evolving guys, maybe if he'd have got more opportunities last year when you got to the semifinals, maybe this guy would be a little bit more disciplined and route running himself, and you don't have to coach him as much as you do. To me right now, he's still that guy. Going to have to coach him, going to have to do that next year again too. He's not just going to pop out of there. So he needs that. Maybe you should have got a little bit more of that last year.
Well, maybe you should play some of your freshmen this year a
there
little
you
bit
go.
more so they don't have that absolute learning curve.
You're right.
You brought in the best receiver recruiting class in America. You brought in 4 top-flight blue-chip receivers who are all ranked in the top 105.
Get them ready to play football. You're right.
Only one of them played last week. It was Dalen McCutcheon. It 2 snaps. And again, he made a catch with those 2 snaps. But you got Khalil Lockett, who was the number 2 ranked receiver in this class.
And we heard a lot about him.
You got Jamie French. You got Michael Terry. I want to see maybe that wide receiver room expand
I agree.
a little bit more.
Don't get worried about playing. If you're not playing them these next 3 weeks, when are you playing them?
Right. So it's, to me, it's not just these 3 weeks, but definitely over these next 3 weeks.
Yes.
And I hope one of these guys could step up and earn that trust because Sark has made it clear that, he's not going to throw you out there if he doesn't trust you. And he's really not going to throw you out there at wide receiver if he doesn't trust you.
No, that's for sure.
So you got to do something over these next 3 weeks in the games and then practice to prove that, hey, you're worthy. Even though it's your first year of college football.
You hit it right on the head right there with that.
It feels like Xavier Worthy is the only freshman receiver who got a ton of run in the Sark era. Texas was 5-7 that year.
Yeah,
they had nobody. I wonder if Worthy would have even played if the team wasn't so bad.
And you feel the same way in that running back room. If you got a great runner that's out there as a freshman, as you said, Clark, who's come back off that injury and has been ready to play, let him see. I mean, if he has 2 explosive runs, you're going to look at him like, no, he's just not a guy. He's a little bit more than just a guy. He's ready. He's a college running back that's ready to get play and get some playing time. So, but I'm not still giving up on Trey Wisner. I just think he's there.
Okay, what do you think of the strategy going on over there, Buck? So Earl Campbell is signing autographs to the left of us. And, people ask for jerseys to be signed. People ask for their shirts to be signed. But usually you keep the shirt on, right? You just turn around and you walk up to the guy and say, hey, here, sign my shirt. That Texas fan just took off his shirt and gave the
he shouldn't do that.
Stangerunde Hall crowd a nice show today.
Yeah, and he shouldn't be taking that shirt off. Keep that shirt on.
Shirt's got to stay on.
Men, keep your shirts on.
What about the ladies?
That's up to them. I don't frown upon that at all.
You're not an equal opportunity shirts
No,
off guy.
no. I don't frown upon it. If you want to do that, that's on you.
I like that.
But some of you dudes keep the shirts on.
All of you dudes keep the
Yeah,
shirts
all
on.
of you.
I think that's what you're going for today.
Yes.
I don't know if I've ever seen that bit. You take the shirt off to get it signed.
Just sign it as it is.
We don't need that bit right there.
If some of the ink gets through, that's okay. You wash it off.
Yeah, and it does come off in the wash, I believe. A couple other freshmen before we kind of wrap things up and give our score predictions for today's game. We'll see if Jonah Williams sees the field today. Jonah Williams, look, every Longhorn fan saw the type of athlete he was during baseball season back in the spring.
And he brings a little juice with him, too.
He's a 5-star football recruit, top 15 player in the country. I watched this dude play a couple of times in high school down in Galveston. I mean, he is the real deal. And you talk about that juice. The guy will talk smack. You know, it's funny. Some people will be like, your team's down 21 points.
He doesn't
Why
care.
are you talking trash? Your team is down 5 runs. Why are you talking trash? And then those same people will be like, oh, you only talk when you're ahead. Jonah Williams will talk regardless of if his team's up by 100 or down by 100.
He may be the X factor that you need on the team. You got to have a couple guys like that.
You talk about the juice. He brings it every single time he gets out of bed. And he's finally back in practicing. You know, was unavailable last week. He's been dealing with the hamstring injury that he's dealt with for a few months now. He's back practicing. I don't know how much we'll see him today, but it sounds like we're going to see him some over these next 3 weeks.
That's good. That's good for the team.
Look, the safety room is deep. So I don't know if Jonah Williams is going to get a ton of snaps at safety, but you talk about a returner. Talk about trying to get more out of your special teams. That guy might be your guy.
Yeah, and that's what I mean about the wide receiver room, BK. When you have these 4- and 5-star wide receivers that you got coming out of high school, somebody is spectacular. Somebody's going to make a play.
Yeah.
That's all they need. They need to have that success. They have that success, and now you can count on them for the year to make big plays. They got to find that other guy.
Absolutely. And we didn't quite see it with Ryan Niblett. Again, you don't want to close the door on anybody after just one game. But, I wasn't really impressed with the Texas punt return game. So we'll see. DeAndre Moore is a guy who was back there at times. You know, Trey Wisner was returning kickoffs last week.
You know, I was like holding my breath every time they kicked it off. Please kick this out of the end zone. I saw C.J. Baxter, both of those guys back there. I'm like, dude, do not kick that ball to C.J. Baxter coming off a knee and having him as your kickoff returner.
I don't think Baxter was back there.
He wasn't back there at all. I thought it was both of those guys at one time. I think they were figuring it was going to get kicked out of the end zone, and most of them were, thank goodness.
Yeah. I think Gus Johnson got confused. He kept calling Trey Wisner
CJ Baxter. Is that what he was doing?
It's like, you've only had 230 days to get ready for this game, Gus.
Come on, Gus.
What are we doing here, guy? Special teams. Let's see. Jonah Williams could be that guy. I think he's definitely your punt returner of the future, like 2026, 2027. But I wonder if there's anything he can do to earn some opportunities there. Again, these next 3 weeks, hopefully you're forcing a lot of punts. Hopefully you've got a big lead, or it's like, all right, we don't need our top guy out there. We can put somebody else and see what they bring to the table.
Guys some opportunities.
It would be nice to see Jonah Williams get some opportunities. So again, you bring in the number 1 recruiting class in America. Only 4 guys saw snaps in game 1. I think just about all 25 of them are going to see snaps.
I believe that's going to happen today.
All of the guys who are healthy, today and in these next 3 games. All right, we've got a few minutes left here in our show. Buck, just a couple of final thoughts. Obviously, we'll give our score predictions in a moment, but just a couple of things. I feel like I've been talking about all the things that I want to see. A couple of other things that you want to see from this Texas team today.
Yeah, I think telling me with a sense of urgency for this offense that you're ready to play, and that was not what you were all about last week. You know, it only took a little something last week for you to win a game, a close football game, that you only gave up 14 points. You know, you found a way to be in it, but it's the urgency by which you take the field and how much it means to you to take the field. You're going to be excited about playing at home in front of your home crowd for game number 1, but you got to show that urgency every time you get on the field. Every series that you come out there, that offensive line needs, you know how they huddle up on the side and then they come out on the field. You need to fly out to the field, get out of the huddle, have your quarterback ready to go, get you the snap count. Nobody's jumping off sides. Nobody's illegal procedure. Show that you're buttoned up and ready to play in front of your home crowd and playing the team like you're playing today. But that needs to be the way you play it every down. Every time you go to the huddle, it has to be that way. Every time you come out of a timeout, you have to be ready to go. It can't be lethargic looking. It was too lethargic. It was so media hyped last week and so media hyped about the quarterback and how big the game was last week. I think the players forgot about, it takes you too to be excited. You got to be excited too. Yeah. You can't just be driven by the media. You as a team have to be driven. I don't think they were driven as a team. That's that was unusual to watch with this team, because I've watched this team over the last 2 years, especially. Oh, no, it's not. And I'm not going to say it was just the defense. Both sides of the football, they, with these wide receivers that they had, with Quinn Ewers and the things that they did offensively, these running backs, there was a sense of urgency about getting to the line of scrimmage, getting a play, getting another play, getting another. I didn't see that. It was very tentative of the way they played football last week offensively.
A lot of coaches, and Steve Sarkisian, one of them, they talk about the games being the fun part.
Right.
You put in all this work and practice, especially in the offseason going into a start
Where was
of the
the
year.
fun last week?
Right, the spring, the summer, the fall. You're putting in all this work, and hey, you get 12 guaranteed opportunities.
Your quarterback is short arm and pass. Where's the fun?
It just didn't look like there was a lot of fun for the Texas
No,
offense.
I agree.
A week ago. So, let it rip. Be loose. Go out there. Have some fun. And it should be a hell of a lot more fun today.
You have the better team, and you have it. I know it. You know it. The American people know it.
And folks out in the desert know it.
Yeah,
too.
they know it. So go do that.
Go do it. I like it. Would you like to see a little more tempo from this Texas offense? Hey, let's say they actually do complete the first pass of the game. Would you like to see them just run a little bit more?
Yeah, just the way you move to the line of scrimmage. I don't care if you go back and huddle. Just the way you break the huddle and get to the line of scrimmage. You don't have to rush to do that, because we know what happens when you rush here, whether you're home or away. If you rush up to the line too quick, somebody's going to jump the gun. Somebody's going to be excited. Only 2 of those today, BK, at home.
2 false starts?
2 false starts. I'm going to give them 2 false starts.
Okay.
I don't think we're going to see a game this year out of all the games where they don't have any false starts. This is just that team. They do that. They can work on it all they want to, but somebody's jumping the gun.
I was really impressed with this offensive line. And how about this? Here is a developing story. It's really already developed. Trey Wisner has been ruled out for today's game. He is in street clothes right now. He's on the field wearing his jersey, but he's wearing sweatpants, no pads, and he will not play today. So nice pick by me for my Texas Offensive Player of the Game.
And nice pick by me saying they're ready to get C.J. Baxter moved into the number 1 spot.
Well done. All right.
Yeah.
Well, I think Texas probably being cautious with its leading rusher. This is not an SEC game, so no injury reports. I didn't hear anything this week about Trey Wisner being limited in practice.
So we'll get a chance to see those young guys play.
So maybe it's just, Texas being overcautious with its leading rusher. But, hey, more ops for C.J. Baxter, Christian Clark, Jarrett Gibson, James Simon, Ricky Stewart. Welcome to the show.
Absolutely.
Welcome to the show. So no Trey Wisner in this game for Texas. That is a weird story right there, but shouldn't matter too much. The Longhorns should be just
So he never got in the uniform, huh?
He's wearing his jersey, but nothing else. Now, during warm-ups, he was out there talking in sweats. Just
Interesting.
like that. All right, it's time for our game score predictions. We also have to announce a winner for our boots and jeans. Mason, if you're ready to do the raffle, we got to announce a winner for the boots, and also we need intern Mason's game score prediction as well.
Sweet.
As we wrap up our Texas football pregame show. Again, powered by Covert Bee Cave and AV Consultations. Mason, throw a headset on, sir, because we're going to need your game score predictions. You did it on camera, right? Everybody saw that was a legit drawing that just happened. No mullet open stuff going on here.
Hey, watch that. Watch that.
Oh, man.
Organized fun.
All right, the winner of today's Ariat Boots and Jeans giveaway, Austin.
Adair, is that Adair?
Adair?
Yeah.
I'm going with Austin Adair. All right, Austin, if you're here, come up and see us. If not, we've got your phone number. We will text you and find a way to get you your prize. But congrats to Austin for winning. We're going to have giveaways every single home game.
Yes, we will.
We'll be at Scholz the next 2 weekends because there's 2 more home games coming up these next 2 weeks. We'll have more Ariat boots and jeans to give to the people all season long. All right, it's time for our game score predictions brought to you by our friends at Paul's Motor Works. We'll tell you more about them in a moment. Get Mason the headset real quick. We'll let our man Mason Gomez give his prediction first. Mason, good to see you. Who wins today, and what's the final score, my friend?
I don't think we're gonna blow it up, throwing the ball down the field very much. I think it's more of a ground and pound kind of game. That being said, 45-6, backdoor cover late in the game.
I like that. 45-6, a Texas win and a Texas cover, barely. Buck, what say you?
I'm saying 52-14. Everybody gets a chance to play. They throw it, they run it, the whole works. Yeah, we're going to get up to 50. We'll be 52-14.
So that's a 38-point margin of victory, which means another close cover. And I'll switch it up a little bit. I'm going to go 44-10. The Texas wins. I think they win pretty handily, but they just miss covering the Vegas line. And I didn't quite see enough from the offense to feel like they're going to go for 50. They should.
Yeah, well, I'm counting on the defense to score 21 points.
That works. And you are counting on a punt block at some point
That's
in
true.
this game today. So if those things happen, we should be all right. Our scoreboard predictions brought to you by Paul's Motor Works. Our friends at Paul's have been providing complete foreign and domestic automotive repair in Austin since 2000. They specialize in BMW, Mini Cooper, Mercedes, Audi, Volkswagen, and Porsche, but they can work on
They can
any
handle
make.
them all.
I bring my niece on there all the time. Oil changes, tire rotations to major repairs. Don't trust your car to just anyone. Trust your car to the great people at Paul's Motor Works. Your search for a good mechanic is over. Just go see Paul and his team on 2222 right off of 620. Find out more information at pmwaustin.com. All right, that's going to do it for today's pregame show, gentlemen.
A lot of fun.
A lot of fun.
Good way to start the opener here.
Hopefully it is a good opener for Texas. Get the taste out of your mouth after what happened last week and pick up your first win of the season.
Yeah, I think you'll see the urgency today, BK, on the offensive side of the football for sure.
I hope you are right. All right, that'll do it for us here at Scholz Garten. Thanks to everyone for making this possible. Of course, thanks to Scholz Garten for hosting us. Thanks to all of our great pre- and post-game sponsors. A reminder, check out the TSU post-game show with Zay Collier and Rodney Rodriguez. It will go live as soon as the game goes final today. For Rodney Rodriguez back at home, for Mason Gomez, for Bucky Godbolt, I am BK Brad Kellner. Thank you all so much for tuning in to the Texas Sports Unfiltered pregame show. Y'all enjoy the game today and hook 'em.
Okay.